she insists on having a rug in my game room. I already have like soundproof panels and stuff like that spread
You have a
across.
hardwood floor, or
Yeah, I do.
oh fuck,
Yeah,
oh
so
yeah, okay,
she's in the next room, so she's like, "Hey, absorb some of the sound." But like when I'm moving my fucking chair, it gets stuck on the edge of the cart or the
oh
edge of the rug.
yeah.
So
My dad did that to me when I lived with them still, because he didn't want the chair to rip the uh rip up the fucking wood, which it will absolutely destroy wood, those rolling office chairs.
okay,
um so he made me do the same thing, but it didn't work. The rug wasn't big enough. I'd roll around like off of it or whatever. So it's fucking but yeah, no, I mean on hardwood too, they can be really loud.
well, this is like it looks like it's Fox hardwood floors. It like has
Mm,
the Fox wood, and then it's hardwood under the floors, I believe. So,
gotcha. Okay.
um, yeah.
It's more
So I don't know.
protected.
Yeah, but I can roll around
Fair
this
enough.
floor, but whatever.
Well, Montrell, how have you been, man? It's been 2 weeks. I feel like I've been gone for an eternity.
Yeah, it has been a while since I talked to you. I don't even know, man. I've been all right.
Yeah.
Living life or trying to at least.
Mm-hmm.
So,
2 weeks closer to your you being done with your class, right? I assume.
oh no, I got a whole another month.
Oh yeah, I know, but 2 weeks have passed. We're getting closer to the end there.
Yeah, I'm like
Um,
starting to give up. I'm like, it's studying is just like,
a
man,
lot.
yeah,
Well, you've been doing it over such a long period of time. I mean, it's yeah.
yeah,
With how consistently you've had to do it, it sounds pretty rough. But
yeah.
yeah, man. Fucking, dude, 2 weeks away. I just got back today, like literally, I don't know, 5 hours ago. Um, and San Francisco, that's where I was, is an interesting place. I will just say that. I will say that. Um, Things I noticed that I wanted to call out. So, number one, this was one of the weirdest parts of it. The number of different types of straws I received from restaurants was mind-boggling. Like there were paper straws, there were plastic straws, there were straws made out of pasta, there were straws made out of compost material, I think, of some sort that I like. They were like super hard, like we could not actually break them. Like it felt like plastic, but it wasn't. I don't think it was. And then there was like another type of straw too, that it was just very interesting how many different types of straws they give, because they're trying to not use plastic, which is funny because any place that gives you a, like, like a fast food style cup had plastic covers for the cup. So I don't really know what they're accomplishing there. That was very confusing. Um, Number two, the roadways are fucking miserable in San Francisco, dude. Like the way the roads are laid out makes so little sense. It like hurts my brain. Like there were so many intersections in the city in particular where there were like 5 roads going into the intersection, or even 6 in some cases, where there were lights for each of those different roadways coming in. It was fucking bizarre. Um, Also, no access roads on the highways. I didn't expect there to be, but man, those those are, I miss those. Definitely. Um, a lot of like doing stuff where you, like, to get on the highway, you have to like drive north to drive south, kind of thing. That kind of stuff. Because there's no access lanes or anything like that. So that was interesting. I will say the people were very nice.
Okay.
Everybody I interacted with, like had a conversation with, they were super polite, very nice, very happy to talk to you, which is not what I expected, to be quite honest. So that was kind of an interesting part of it. Definitely positive vibes there for sure. The food, I gotta give a big thumbs up to the food. I wasn't expecting I wasn't expecting it to be bad or anything like that, but it was a lot better than I don't know, than I thought. There was a lot of really good places that we went to. And I don't know, like there wasn't, I honestly, in terms of the stuff that was like local, I don't think we had a bad meal. like the entire time for 2
Oh
weeks,
wow, okay.
that's crazy to say, to be
Yeah,
honest. Um, the caveat there though is very expensive to eat out in San Francisco.
I can
Like,
imagine. Yeah.
dude, just going like we went to Taco Bell once or twice, and dude, just getting like a combo and a couple things on the side was like $20, $25.
Really?
Yeah, man. Oh my fucking god, it was fucking insane, dude. Um, so there, it's interesting though because the best place we went the entire week was a sub shop called AK Subs, and their prices were like pretty normal. Like it was like $12 for a sandwich, and like $2.50 for like a side of fries. Like it wasn't anything unreasonable. Like
Mhm.
me and Brian, who the guy I was on the work trip with, we both got our meal. Like we both got a sandwich, fries, and a drink, and we came out to like I don't know, $35, $37 or something like that with tax. Which is probably the cheapest meals we were getting anywhere in the entire city, and it was the best. It was the best place we went to the entire time. So that was kind of interesting too that we saw because there was like a barbecue place we went to, and dude, that was like 70 or $80 for lunch at that place, and it was like it's fucking nuts. So it was an interesting trip. Seeing San Francisco, definitely a lot of homeless people. Was expecting that, but they seemed concentrated in certain places. That seemed to be the way it was. There were some out and about, obviously, in other places, like individually, but the groups of them that I had, I'd heard about or read about, were really kind of relegated to certain areas. It seemed like, um, so that was interesting too. But yeah, I don't know. There is some very beautiful landscapes there. We did go to the Golden Gate Bridge. That was really cool. That is a really gorgeous spot. I think it looks really cool. I think sometimes the fog will roll in over there too, and that is probably a really awesome picture to get. There's some really cool like cloud shots on like distant hills and mountainsides, like outside the city and stuff too. You know, every few days. So yeah, it's a very interesting place. It seems like it's not. It's got like different vibes in very like small increments. Like you'll go like a few blocks and like the vibe will be totally different.
Mhm.
From where you started, and that's kind of an interesting thing. So yeah, I don't know. Definitely worth visiting. I would not want to live there. Absolutely not. The houses are not pretty. They do not look good at all. So I don't know. But we had a successful trip. It was good. I am very happy to be home though. To be honest, I'm ready to get back into my normal swing of things. So and then fucking play some games again, man. I have been gaming, but it's just it's been mindless bullshit for the most part. I'm ready to get back into like some actual real games again. Um, so yeah, all right, Montrell, let's jump into the show proper now. I'll get through the rigmarole and we can get into our normal run of show here. So, for those of you who haven't listened before, this is the Player's Take. This is episode 277. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host, Montrell Rice. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. And if you'd like to send us questions that we'll answer on the show, you can send those to us on Twitter at the Player's Take, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And then I do want to say thank you to DJ for filling in last week. I did listen to the episode. You guys did a great job covering the showcases, which was a lot of fun to listen to. And yeah, so Montreal, let's jump into what we've been playing. You want to go first this week?
Yeah. I actually haven't been playing too much stuff, so uh, I did make it my life's mission though, to finish Stellar Blade, and I finally finished the game. So that
Hmm.
game is finished. Um,
Okay, I didn't realize you'd. Okay, cool.
yeah, I
What'd you think?
finished. I thought I put it in the chat. I put my whole little mini
Yeah, that's right.
review in the
You did.
chat.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
You did. You okay? Well, let's give it to the audience. What did?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, uh, I have a lot of mixed emotions with the game. So overall, I think the game's a solid 8,
Hmm.
7.5, 8
Hmm.
out of 10. There are some things that definitely need to be worked on. Um, I think my biggest takeaway, my biggest negative for the game is I'm not crazy. There's a huge button delay in the game.
There
I
is.
don't know. Yeah, and I don't like it. I don't know why
Yeah.
it's there, and it really fucking
They
irritates me.
actually reduced it pre-launch from feedback from the demo, and they
Okay.
said that was the best they could do. Like they couldn't get it
Really?
any shorter than that. Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, me and DJ, I think have talked about this a little bit, like in the text thread with you. Is I think I mean the game is an animation based action game, meaning that
Yeah.
like you have to finish an animation before the next one will play. You can't really cancel so much. You can cancel certain things, but it's not like a super fast paced action game where you can cancel everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Um, and that's fine, I guess. The game is deceives itself the way it wants to be played, in my
Mhm.
opinion. So that's my biggest crux with the game. It was at odds with itself, right? Because it wanted to be a character action game, but it also wanted to be a Dark Souls game or
Mhm.
a Sekiro game. I want to call it Dark Souls. I call it Sekiro. It
Mhm.
wanted to be a Sekiro parry heavy game or whatever. But it is an animation based game as well. There are certain attacks, especially when I was fighting I mean, spoilers or whatever, guys. So I'll give
Well,
you
yeah,
like
I do
10
want to hear your
seconds.
spoiler thoughts. So yeah, like
Yeah, I'm gonna.
we're gonna
Yeah,
spoil the game a little bit here. I'm gonna be frank. The story in this game is not
it's not the
anything.
best.
It's
Yeah,
not anything to write home about. So,
yeah.
but
But I'll give you guys 10 seconds to go away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So when you fight Raven, um, that fight was very frustrating. Because I I I understand
well, which one are
introducing.
you talking about? The human one or the Natiba one?
Okay, so the Natiba one was very fucking frustrating,
Okay,
because it breaks a couple of rules that
gotcha.
you've already established, right? So when you're fighting the Natiba version, um, you dodge, or it was one attack where she would do her blue attack, and then you would zoom behind her, and then she would zoom behind you, I think, or something like that. Or
Mhm.
even if you did your I think it's called repulse. So if you did your repulse, you zoom behind her, she punishes you for that. And I'm
Oh,
like,
you'd get countered. Yeah.
yeah, she punished you for that. And I'm like, that's very counterintuitive. I didn't like that part at all. I thought the
Well,
fight
that
was,
happened. I know that happened in the human one for
it did.
sure. You didn't
Yeah.
take any damage though. It just she
Well,
just countered you and like she didn't actually hurt your health bar.
yeah. And that when she did the counter, she countered you, but not like, it was weird. The mechanic was weird. So she countered you because she would do a yellow attack right after you do that attack. And then
Yeah.
you have to like dodge it or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then the way the game is set up, your animation of you doing your repulse wasn't finished. So when you get out of it, you immediately have to press circle at the right time to do it. But the problem is there's also a delay in the dodge until when you can get your witch time, I call it, or whatever the fuck, your perfect timing or whatever. So the game is just really weird because I know my timings was like not bad, and I was losing my mind because I'm like, I know I'm not bad at this game. Like I even practiced because I stopped playing it for a couple weeks, and then I even went into the training area for about an hour before I actually was like, all right, now I'm about to dive into the game or back into the game or whatever. Um, and I got all my feels back and everything like that. And then when you fight Raven, the human form, or her Andros Idios form, whatever you want to call it,
Hmm.
it's fucking stupid.
Human form, whatever. Just call it the human
Yeah,
form. Yeah,
your
whatever.
human form. Yeah, like even though you're gonna get damaged, I feel like the game was like, don't use your beta attacks, and I'm like, all right, so I can't use my beta attacks
Mm,
now or
it
whatever.
was the beta attacks. That's right.
Yeah,
It wasn't the repulse. Yeah,
yeah, it was
you're
the
right.
regular the beta attacks, and I'm like, okay, I can't use my beta attacks now or whatever,
Yeah.
which was like
Well, you can
fine.
only use them at certain like if you staggered her, you could use them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was just that second phase of the fight or
You
whatever.
couldn't open with it, which I found to be interesting. I actually didn't mind it so much because I found the beta skills to be very abusive. Like it was a really easy way to just abuse bosses. Because it staggers them, it does a fuck ton of damage. You get beta energy back for using them too. So
Yeah.
like late in the game, your beta bar is insane. Like how many times you can use the skills back to back.
Mhm.
And you get the energy back so fast that like you could legitimately spam the shit out of it. So I didn't necessarily mind it. I think it was their way of giving the fight some challenge because by that point in the game you're just so powerful. I feel like that you could just
Yeah.
spam the boss.
I think part of it was frustration. I would be honest with you. I really just wanted the game to end, and they seemed like it
Yeah.
just wouldn't fucking end.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, they put the two hardest bosses at the end of the game. So,
yeah,
if you were in that headspace, like I could see how it would be frustrating for you.
yeah. Um, to me, yeah, those were the two hardest. The robot wasn't really that hard. Okay, so I did choose
Dude, the
the.
robot was so much harder for me than Raven.
Really,
Oh
I
my
didn't think the robot was that
dude,
hard
the
for me.
robot like three shots you, dude. It was doing so much damage
He
compared
was
to
doing a lot of damage. He
every
was.
other boss in the game. It was insane. I mean, like it wasn't that bad for me. I think I spent less than an hour on it total before I beat it, but it was I died to that boss more than anything else in the game. Probably more than anything else combined, like
No,
every other boss.
I died to the Natiba Raven more.
Yeah.
I actually had to take a break. I
I
had
think
to
I only
like.
I beat her in like one or two attempts. I didn't have
Oh
a trouble
god.
with her. It was the human form. I had a little bit more trouble with Raven's human form. That one probably took I don't know 7 or 8. And then yeah, Providence, dude. Like I was stuck on that for a while. Like
Yeah.
there were a lot of attempts there.
Yeah,
Um,
Providence only took me like maybe like maybe about 4 or 5 tries, but
mhm.
I legitimately was fighting the Tiba one for about a good. I died to
Yeah,
her at least a good 20 times, and I had to go
yeah,
to bed, and maybe I was sleepy too. I went to bed and I woke
yeah.
up the next morning and I beat her.
In
Um,
one try. Yeah,
yeah, like one or
that's
two
always how
tries,
that's always how it
and
goes.
then
Yeah.
the Raven, her human form. I beat her a couple. She beat me a couple times. She beat me up a couple times, but I didn't feel like her fight was as bad. Just because I
Hmm.
felt like the Natiba version of her was just so much harder, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing too, with the game, I think the boss fights are cool, but my issue with like Raven or throughout the entire game, actually, well, not the entire game. There are just certain bosses that have really weird. This is like a game design thing. Really weird silhouettes. So like I've always had issues with the horses, like the hammerhead horses and everything like that, like parrying them and everything like that. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like human form Raven had the same issue. So she has the blue blade, but then she also has blue tails on her costume,
Hmm.
and then her hair is long. So when she's moving and fighting, it it covers the sword, and, and maybe it was just me not. I don't know. I feel like her silhouette was really off, and it was really hard for me to follow her moves to where I can parry them correctly. Um,
Yeah, well, this is where the game falters a little bit to me too, compared to Sekiro, right? Because with Sekiro, the game's so snappy and responsive that like I remember when we talked about it, we described it almost like a rhythm game where you could like if you know the rhythm, you know what the block timing is, and like you
yeah,
can hear it when you're doing it correctly. And in Stellar Blade, that's true to an extent where if you perfect parry, you hear a different sound effect. However, that sound effect is extremely loud. Number one, and number two, the games like you were saying, the input latency with things was just such that I don't feel like it wasn't as trying to use rhythm to like block didn't wasn't as effective in this game. Um, so I see, yeah. So I totally get what you mean with the timing.
yeah, and so but like with her, right? It was more so like a character. It was a design thing, in my opinion, with that fight, and it really frustrated me because I went to school for this, and I was like, and I remember my teacher talking about this and like the character silhouette. That was like really bad character silhouette design that they put there. She had too many,
Particle effects.
yeah, too many swooshy things going on. So it
Yep.
was like the blade curves when she's hitting, so that's that particle effect. Her hair is curving, and then the tail feathers off her outfit is
Well, there's
curving as
like
well.
glitter almost coming off of her,
Yeah,
and then
and it was
oh,
very obscure.
when she would appear, like she would teleport sometimes too, where she would like disappear and appear somewhere else.
Yeah.
And there was a particle effect for that too that would linger, you know. So
Yeah, and it was the silhouette. Her silhouette was very obscured, and
yeah,
when she would do like she would do this stab move, and then she'd do like a rapid stab move. It was hard for me to understand what she was doing, or either she was doing a rapid stab move or a rapid stab kick and then stab. And I couldn't tell what she was doing because it was literally blurred on my. And I'm like, and I thought maybe I was like, maybe my vision's bad. I called my wife and I'm like, can you see this attack? I recorded it. And I'm like, what is she doing right here? And she's like, I can't fucking tell. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, so it's not me. And I had to like actually do a PlayStation record and slow it down to see what she was doing because it was blurred so much, or like it was so much happening in that one little snappy part that I could not
yeah,
see what the fuck she was doing. And I've never experienced that. Even like Devil May Cry and all these other games, I've never experienced like such a bad silhouette design in my entire life.
yeah.
And I mean, and I'm not over exaggerating. Like I'm not trying to, like I said, the game's like a solid 7 to 8.5 or 8 or whatever. But that shit, they really need to like hammer that shit down. Like I understand this is probably like one of their first games they did or whatever.
Mhm.
Hopefully, like people give them that feedback and they'll take that feedback because that I never want to experience that ever again in another video game. Like that was really jarring for me. Another thing, for me as well. Now you mentioned the parry. I don't like. I okay. So people are gonna get upset with me. Um, well, Montrell, Nier has the slow down thing when you're dodging as well. In Nier Automata, really, not really, but really, right? So it does it like like not even a fucking half a second. It's like a 0.5 second or 0.001 second where in Nier, when TB dodges, she does a little
Well,
duplicate dodge, and she
you also
kind of.
have a lot of iframes during that too.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so your rhythm is okay. Now I'm not even talking about the dodge and Stellar Blade. I'm talking about the parry. When you perfect parry, I almost hate perfect parrying in this game because the slow motion shit that happens throws off your rhythm so much in the fight that you have to accommodate for the slow motion that happens. And
Mhm.
people may say, "What the fuck are you talking about, Mantra?" Uh, the reason why the Dark Raven or the Natiba Raven fight was so fucking hard for me was because I was perfect parrying her, and I
No,
was
you're
fighting the
right.
parrying
Yeah.
more than her. And
No, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
and this is what I'm talking about when we talk about rhythm in Sekiro.
Mhm.
And when I perfect parry, I hear the ding, and the game is still at normal speed, so I can under my body can your brain and your hand motions can get used to what's going to happen when it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't mind there being a delay, an input delay. I play Dark Souls. I play Bloodborne. All those have input delays. That's not the problem. The problem is the input delay on top of the slow motion. No one talked about this, and I just don't understand. I looked everywhere, Justin, and I'm like, maybe I'm just a fucking action game snob or something. Maybe I don't like this game. No one talked about this like at all. I even tried to talk to Tori about it. Because he's like an action game snob. But it's like I don't like. Not only do I have the input delay, but now you're making the time slow down to make the game look cool, and it's like that shit sucks. I was looking in like accessibility settings and stuff like that. How can I turn this slow motion off? This
Yeah.
shit is ass. Please stop. In the next third leg, because there is going to be a next one. Please do not put slow motion on the parries, the perfect parries. I understand you're trying to make the player feel good, but it actually, in my opinion, it made me feel like dog shit because I'm like, now my rhythm is fucked
Well,
up.
it does. Yeah, it throws the timing off a lot. Now that you mentioned, like, I hadn't even really thought about it. Like, you're totally right, though. Now that you're bringing it up, like, I know exactly what you mean, and that might be why that might be why so many people have trouble with the parry system in this game, like with the timing. Because the most common complaint about the game I've heard is honestly the parry timing windows, like that they're not they're hard to hit consistently, and get good at, and I think it's exactly because of what you're talking about. Because yeah, like honestly, guys, if you don't believe us, like go watch a gameplay clip of somebody fighting a boss and doing perfect parries, and you'll see exactly what we mean. Where the game almost it goes to like half speed for like a half second, not even might even be like a quarter second, but it's enough that it like throws off what the timing should be, you know.
Yeah,
Um, and that totally fucks you up because you're right. And Sekiro again, Sekiro like Sekiro's like perfect. Okay, there's no issues with shit like that. The game is just like this is the timing. It's gonna be like this the whole game, you know. And it's like I think with Stellar Blade, it feels different for every enemy because enemies, you know, every enemy has a different attack pattern, you know. But because of that slowdown, it just makes it worse. It's like a compounding issue. And ultimately, it's not like a huge deal. Like you'll get used to it as you play the game, and the game is not hard enough where I think it like matters that much per se. But it becoming somebody who can like no hit a boss run is it would take a lot of fucking practice. I think it'd be a lot harder in this game than it would be in Sekiro, to be frank. At least
uh,
for me. At least for me.
yeah, I totally agree. I think that was the source of my frustration. Was the slow motion thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you'll get used to it, but it's certain fights that are made exorbitantly harder because of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're trying to compensate for when the boss does rapid attacks or rapid succession attacks, like you have to like accommodate for that on top of the input lag.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um, and I don't mind the boss fainting attacks and everything like that. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah.
Like that's in
Right.
every game of this caliber or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
case. The problem is with like the what's his name? The robot boss. I forgot his name already.
Providence.
Providence. He did a lot of feigning attacks. Like he would hold his thing for like the
Yes.
last second
No, that
and then
was I
punch.
hated that fight. The fight was so annoying because he was doing it constantly, bro. And if you miss the timing, you get fucking slapped. Like a 30 HP gone. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
And he was pretty tough because of that. And like I said, it was just so like obviously that's the source. That's why I cannot give this game a 9 or even a 10 or I'm even reluctant to give it an 8 because that's how bad for me personally that was for me. And it wasn't like a get good situation. It was like this needs to be fixed or this isn't my type of game type situation. Um I even the bullshit with the story, like cool. I mean, I don't expect the best story in the action game. I think the best story you're probably going to get from a kind of action game like this is near Automata. But I don't expect the world from this game. I thought the little twist towards the middle, the 75% mark in the game, where you find out like, oh, are we the baddies? And it's like, yeah, we are the baddies. Like so it's like cool. I like that spin. It
I
was
mean,
really
everybody's the baddies. Like this is like the game. Okay, we're gonna get into spoilers in the secret ending here, guys. So if you don't want to hear it, skip ahead. But again, it's not really that great. The secret ending in the game pissed me off. Like it frankly like ruined the game in some ways. Like because by the end of the game, I was starting to like the characters. I was kind of starting to like Eve. I liked
yep,
Lily.
same.
You know,
Yep.
I was starting to. I was like, okay, there's like a rapport between the two of them too that was actually starting. It was like kind of cute, and you were like they had a really nice
It was
banner
like a
with each other.
big sister
Yeah,
situation. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, for sure. And I loved the space elevator mission with the two of them. You know,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
that
Yep.
is the best part of the game. I fucking loved it. That was the amazing part of the game, right? But then you go to the secret ending, and dude, like the choice you have to make, taking Adam's hand or not, it makes no sense in context of who Adam is, what he's done, everything that the game has told you up to this point. And then if you read the lore entries and the collectibles and stuff, it makes even less sense
See, I
that
didn't. I
Eve,
didn't read the lore
dude,
entries.
it makes even less sense that Eve would take Adam's hand knowing the truth about him. So do you know who he is within the lore of this game then if you didn't read the collectibles?
Wasn't he in the prime in Tiba? Not the prime in Tiba, but
Well, yeah, he's the Alpha Natiba, but
yeah.
but no, he is Raphael Marx, who is the guy who started the whole
Wow.
cycle of all of this, that everything has happened with this game in this game's universe. He's the one that he created Andro Eidos. He created the place that Eve comes from and all the androids come from. He
So he
created
created
that
the
AI.
mother?
Yeah, he created Mother Sphere. Yes.
Okay.
Like he's the creator of Mother Sphere, which then went rogue on him and then basically eliminated humanity. And then he experimented on humanity in order to fight back against Mother Sphere because he fucked up, and he created the Natibas out of humans.
Yeah,
Like
yep.
this guy is an absolute fucking piece of shit. Like he caused the extinction of the human race, essentially. Literally, he's literally the last human. He caused the extinction of the human race with the creation of Mother Sphere, and then he did it even more fucked up shit. Did like genetic mutations and shit to create this monstrous form for humans that they evolved into, and all this shit in the game. So knowing all that, why would Eve, who's been fighting against this the entire game, and she doesn't, I think, like, especially towards the later parts of the game, she's clearly got some doubts about Mother Sphere.
Yeah.
But why would she side with Adam against Mother Sphere? Like, he's the one that created it and caused all this fucking chaos in the first place. Like, the way more appropriate end to this arc would have been for her to say no to Adam, kill him, and then go fight Mother Sphere. That's not the secret ending. The secret ending is you merge with Adam into one being, and then you go fight Mother Sphere. And it's so stupid because, like, Lily even says it when she's going to grab his hand. She, like, Lily is like, Eve, don't do this. This is wrong. Like, you shouldn't be doing this. And Eve is like, Lily, trust me, bro. I got this. You know, it's like, what do you mean?
So
Like,
I took it a different way. That's
oh
interesting
my,
that you took it that way.
yeah,
I took it this way. I took
yeah.
it as Adam created the Natibas or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and he created Mother Sphere. This is all his fault. The way I was perceiving Eve was just like, I want all this shit to be done. So when that's the way I perceived it when she took Adam's hand and she was just like, I really want to stop all of this
No,
from
I
happening.
agree. I think the decision to take his hand, though, is completely counterintuitive to that goal, right? Because if that's your goal, kill Adam, get rid of him, destroy the Natibas. They all die if he dies. Like they're
Okay,
gone.
I didn't know that part. I didn't know.
Yeah, no, that happens if you don't take his hand. All the Natibas are gone, and it's just Mother Sphere. And like, because I watched all the endings, so
Okay.
if you don't take his hand, you fight him, and you fight a boss fight against him, and he's in a Natiba form, and it's a way more appropriate end boss, by the way, compared to Providence. So you fight him, you kill him, and then all the Natibas are gone after that. And then at the end of Mother Sphere invites Eve and Lily up to her afterwards, but they're going with the intent of fighting Mother Sphere, like in that ending.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's kind of like they're holding it in, though they're not saying it outwardly, but it just seems like they're setting up this ominous conflict between them in that ending. The one where she takes Adam's hand and merges with him, dude, like he's not gone. Like there's no guarantee that he's just gone. He didn't just completely give up his consciousness to her. Like how is that? Like how? Like I would be very, if they continue the story off of that ending and he doesn't come back in some way, that is like, I think that's poor writing to me. Like it just wouldn't make any sense for him to just give up his consciousness. And they tried really hard to sell his remorse at the end of the game. And I like, if that's the direction they want to go, sure, fine. I just think the story makes no sense. But the other part that makes no sense is like Eve gets all this power, right? Immediately becomes this like fucking uber godlike entity. And she's just like Mother Sphere attacks her and Lily, and she just murders androidos like androids with no regard whatsoever. And like, whereas the whole game she's like agonized over these people dying and all of her comrades being dead and like fucking what happened to Taki and everything, and it's like, and then you just go to like slaughtering them in mass like
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
nothing.
I didn't
that,
think about that
that
aspect.
shit
Yeah.
makes no sense. Like
Yeah. That
it
makes.
completely makes no sense. Like it's
So
just,
my
I
thing
don't
is
know.
this though. Do you get a secret ending if you don't take Adam's hand?
No, the secret ending is you have to unlock the Lily mission by
Yeah,
getting 100%, like her bar to 100% by getting collectibles and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And you have to do her mission, and then you take Adam's hand, and that's the secret ending. If you don't get the bar to 100%, you get the bad ending where Lily dies, and Eve. I think Eve. I think Eve still merges with Adam in that ending, but Lily's dead. So
Okay, so that tells me that they want you. The canon ending might be the merging with Adam.
it could go either direction. The good ending, quote unquote, the good ending where you don't take Adam's hand, Lily does not die.
Okay.
Um, so they could go forward with that ending, and I think that ending makes way more sense because to me, the way Eve was talking, like you said, right? The way Eve was talking, she wants to start over. She wants this world to start over without the Natibas, without Mother Sphere. To do that, you kill them both. Like merging with Adam, I think is making a compromise that just kind of goes against the values
I
she's kind of built up over the course of the game.
I
You
think
know,
she really wanted to save the old human race. And he was what he was talking was like, well, I can bring back both and we can have the best of both worlds.
it'll be like a merge thing, like
Yeah.
it'll be a new species
Yeah,
essentially.
it'll be a new species
Yeah,
essentially, like you said. And that's the way I took it. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna do that because that makes sense. Like if I want to save both species,
mhm.
um
But that this is my argument. I don't think humans deserve to be saved in this universe.
really?
They don't. I mean, think about what they did. Like, think about. I mean, obviously, it's all on this Raphael Marx guy, but we don't know much about the society at large. But this
So
dude
did
was the
they
most powerful person in that society,
so
and
yeah, did they do something to the android? I'm just gonna call it androids. Did they do anything to
yeah.
the androids? Like to
Who?
make them rebel? The humans.
No, Mother Sphere was trying to figure out how to kind of continue to exist. I guess, like not just her, but like for things to continue to exist, her androids and whatnot. And I believe like the crux of it is that she determined that humans needed to be eliminated. They were a problem. They were a threat to that continuation, basically, which caused the first war that where she like they murdered everybody and then they went into hiding and there was a period of time. This is not very clear in the lore notes, but I believe there was a period of time where the Andro Eidos controlled Earth and they were on the surface, kind of like they
Yeah,
owned everything.
and the humans went underground.
The
Yeah,
humans went underground because
yeah,
if you the Matrix 11 mission indicates this a lot with a lot of the collectibles in there, because they're talking about there are some notes I believe that talk about androids finding them, like, or they're implied. It's not just Natibas, but that is also the area where Natibas first appear. It seems like start appearing as well. But yeah, and then fucking oh my god, why am I forgetting his name? Adam did experimentation in the labs that you go to.
yeah,
The survival horror missions. He did experiments in those labs on humans to accelerate their evolution curve into creating the Natibas, like making them into Natibas, which then they came up and fought back against the androids and pushed them back into space, but then they ended up killing all the remaining humans as well. So
okay.
yeah, so that's my point. Like the path humanity ended up going down, obviously it's mostly because of this one dude, but the path humanity ended up going down, I mean, they caused their own destruction. Do they deserve to continue? I guess that's my perspective here, is that Eve, to me, I feel like it would have made more sense for her to make the decision to let humanity go, let Mother Sphere go, and we're gonna do our own thing, and we're gonna move forward with the what we have here. Um, and that I feel like that would have been more appropriate. I guess like the
I can
idea
see.
of saying saving humanity. Obviously, we're humans, and that's just like intrinsically something we want to do
Mhm.
as humans. Like when we're experiencing some kind of media, but to me, I don't think that should cause the story to curve in such a way where it makes no sense just so we can save humanity in some form,
I think it in my opinion, I think it made sense for her to fuse with Adam. I mean, like I think the whole premise was there. Her name's Adam. I mean, his name's Adam. Her name's Eve. They're technically the first quote unquote. They're supposed to be representative of the first humans on Earth, and then they make this new life. So I think the fusing thing was like a symbolic thing for that as well. So
Yeah, I don't know. But the thing is, he's just calling himself Adam. That's not his name.
I mean, I understand that, but I'm just saying, like,
I
I
don't
think
know.
that's what they were trying to go for.
Yeah,
And
I
in my
know.
opinion,
Yeah,
it makes sense, like, for them to, it's gonna. They even said like it's gonna take a while, but we'll start this new thing where both of us will be happy. We'll both have both DNAs inside of us with these new.
but
Will be a new race of people, and
that assumes he's an altruist in what he's telling her though. Like, and I find it hard to believe that for a guy who's lived hundreds of years, maybe thousands even, and done all this shit that he just suddenly had a change of heart. You know, it's like I don't know.
yeah, I think
Because the other thing about it is, if he was telling the truth, right? If he's telling the truth about that, then why didn't he stop Raven when she went and attacked the city? Like he literally left them before they got to the space elevator mission because he got the call that Raven was attacking with a bunch of Natibas, and he went all the way back there on his fucking hover bike, and he didn't do anything. He wasn't even there when you go back. Like, he literally didn't do shit. Like,
so that's the part I don't understand. So what was his relationship with Raven? Like, was he telling her to
she
do all
was
this shit?
yes, like she was his lieutenant basically. Like, she came down and learned all the shit that Eve learns, right? She did that way back, like years and years and years, probably decades in the past. So like she was part of the second airborne squad. I think Eve is the seventh, I want to
Yeah.
say. So there's a significant gap in time between the second and the seventh. We don't know how many years, but a lot, let's just say. And Raven learned all this shit about Mother Sphere, that, you know, Mother Sphere is full of shit and, like, you know, is lying to them about humans and all this and like saving humanity and stuff. And that pissed her off and created an existential crisis for her. And then Adam showed up and was like, "Hey, yeah, Mother Sphere sucks, right?" And basically almost brainwashed her into becoming like his lieutenant essentially. And yeah, so she works for him. The reason she attacked what was the name of the city? Oh my god, I'm forgetting it's been too long since I played the fucking game. But the reason she attacked the city was because she was mad at Adam that he was choosing Eve
Oh,
over her.
Zion.
Yeah. She was mad at Adam for choosing Eve over her, which is why she attacked. But Adam went back, presumably to go save those people and do something, and he didn't do anything. He just let her destroy the fucking city and kill everybody, you know, like kill a whole bunch of people, you know? So it's like, if he's truly an altruist, like, and wants to like save everybody and move the species forward in this like combined form, like, why didn't he save anybody then? Like, what? Like, he that doesn't make sense. Like, those motivation, like that motivation is, I don't know, they're incongruent to me. So I don't know. Like, I think Adam's a piece of shit. I don't think he deserves anything that, like, he deserves no benefit of the doubt to me. Like, I mean, he lies to Eve the whole game, manipulates her into going to specific places that he wants her to go to get specific information to lead her into this choice where she chooses him. And it's like, I just don't feel like that made sense to me. I feel like it would have made a lot more sense for Eve to reject him at the end, like, personally. But it's fine. It is what it is. We'll see what they do with the second game. But that ending definitely ruined a lot of the good vibes I had with the story, at least for me. So
I'm mixed on it. I actually didn't like the ending. I don't like that we didn't get to fight Mother Spear. I didn't like the design of Mother Spear. It looks like a fucking little girl. I I just don't like those designs. Like,
yeah, that was just her. I mean, that was her projection of herself. So I don't
I
know.
don't fucking care. It looks like a 12-year-old girl.
Why is it always a little girl, dude? I
It
don't
was
understand.
very fucking creepy.
It is weird.
Like what's her face? Every time I encounter her, like buy stuff from her, Kyra, I think that's
Yeah.
her name. She looks fucking creepy. So her face is like, it looks like a 12-year-old girl. I think well, I don't know. She's an android, so it's
They're
like
all androids.
they're all
Like,
androids.
none of
So
them are. Yeah, none of them are human.
so um yeah, I don't know. I just feel really weird when I see characters like that. I'm just like, yeah,
Mhm.
but Yeah, then at the end, like you're fighting, like they try to make it cool, like, oh, you're going out in the blazes of glory. Or you're not going out, but like, you're going out fighting or whatever. And I'm just like, the game just tries too hard sometimes to be cool. And I'm just like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to your point about the parry stuff, I think the game is going for style in a lot of cases.
yeah,
Like that's its main priority, you know?
yeah. And but it's like there's a difference between having style and then trying to emulate style.
Trying too hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're like the cool, you're like the uncool kid who's like trying to fit in and got the latest gear
Mhm.
and stuff like that. And everyone's like, bro, like, what are you doing? Chill out. You're like, hey man, I'm
Mhm.
cool. Like, you're like, oh, this is exactly what it reminded me of. Like, I forgot the show, but like the it was an undercover cop trying to blend in with like high school kids. He's like, "Hello, what's up, my fellow students?" And he has like a fucking skateboard, his hat backwards and shit. And it's like
Uh-huh.
he's trying too hard to blend in. And I feel like Stellar Blade is just trying too hard to blend in with like the Bayonettas, the Nier Automatas, the fucking
Mhm.
the Devil May Cries and shit like that. It's like those games have inherent style to them
Yeah.
and they don't need to try so hard. Whereas like Ben or with Stellar Blade, I understand it's like a breakout game and it's trying to like establish itself, but it's like you don't have to try that hard. Even with the outfits and stuff like that, it was just like I don't mind. And there were sometimes I'm like, you know what? I feel like putting a sexy outfit on Eve while I'm fucking fighting. Let me see that ass. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm playing with like crazy stuff with like a crazy outfit on or whatever. But even that was I'm like, man, the game's just trying too hard. Like Eve's inherently sexy. Like you don't have to like try so hard.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like it's not a Bayonetta um or whatever the case may be. Um I don't know. I
Yeah.
think the Gunner aspect of the game, like that was like behind me once like 5 hours into the game or whatever. I mean, like the physics, the jiggle physics and stuff like that was kind of crazy, but I'm just like at this point, whatever,
Especially
bro.
with Lily.
Oh my god, bro. With Lily, it was
Kill me,
fucking
bro. Like give me a like I never got a different outfit for her and I wanted to kill myself. Like I just oh my god.
it might be even worse, like with a different
Yeah.
outfit.
Well, no, there's an outfit where she's like totally covered up, you know, and I
Okay.
think it's like a tracksuit or something.
Okay.
It doesn't look as bad, but
But
I
even
never
like
got
when
it
you're
for
like
some reason.
fighting Raven and Taki, like it was just like jiggle everywhere. I'm like, all right, this is
Yeah.
like cool, whatever. So I don't mind it. I'm not the type of person that like what I don't like is I don't like that this is a censor that it got censored. And I know it's like minor censor stuff or whatever, but certain outfits you can clearly tell they like added like some censor pieces to it or whatever.
Mhm.
And I don't like it because this is a rated in for mature game. I'm over the age of 18. Don't tell me what the fuck I can't look at. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just
Yeah.
like, from that aspect of it, I understood why people were upset about it because it's like, don't tell me what the fuck I can or can't look at. But
Mhm.
anyway, like, I don't know. I think the game's okay. It's a fine, like I said, 7.5, 8 out of 10. There's definitely some stuff they need to work on in the next game. I would rather them prioritize input lag more than graphics in the next game if they could.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's just my 2 cents on it though.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, despite everything we've said here, like some of the negative parts, this game has really stuck with me though for some reason. Like I like the game a lot. I would probably also give it an 8. Like I'm not going to go higher than that, but you know, I still really like the game though. You know, it's
Yeah,
like it is a fun game when you like
I
kick it all out, you know.
I would say this game, to be honest with you, this game does a really good job of character progression. The
Yeah.
Eve that you play as at the beginning of the game is a totally different Eve by the time you get. And I'm not talking about like character development. I'm talking about how you progress Eve's power scaling.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
crazy.
Oh yeah.
And you feel super powerful by the end of the game. The game still is challenging, even when you feel super powerful.
Yep.
And I think that they did a really good job on that. Like that is probably one of the best power skills I've seen in the game in a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah, and there's just some crazy boss fights, dude. The one at the end of this space elevator against that giant black fucking blob monster or whatever. That shit was awesome. Like that was an awesome fight. The and then yeah, I mean the music. I think you had mentioned this too. The soundtrack is just like
Yep.
chef's kiss. Like it is so good. Do you remember the song for the Raven fight? Do you like that song?
I gotta look. I was so frustrated, man.
Okay. Yeah, though I had Amanda listen to that song and she was like, "What the fuck? What what are you doing? Like what is this?" She hated it. She was like so
I don't think
I like
people
it
like
though. I
video
don't know.
game music. I for some reason I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, no, that particular song though is very strange. I like it though for some reason. So yeah, but all right, Montreal, anything else you've been playing you want to talk about?
Nope. That's and me and Jet are playing ranked league. We played ranked
Oh
league
my
yesterday.
god. Yeah, dude. Okay. All right. So I don't want to get in like too much of a diatribe here, but me and so one of the games I've been playing was Civ 6. Brian and I were on the trip and we played a few times together, but we were getting in Discord and one night, I want to say it was Friday. No, not Friday. Sorry, like Tuesday or Wednesday. Brad jumped in with us and was talking to us, dude. And like him and Hunter are doing the same thing you and Jet are doing, except they're doing it with Dota 2 right now.
Yeah.
Like they are like hardcore into Dota 2, and like Brad's saying like, "Oh, Hunter really wants to get you back, Justin, and then get the rest of the guys on here so we can have a five song." I'm just like, I'm sitting there like, I'm like, oh.
Okay, so I'm
Why
sorry.
do we keep cycling through this same
No, 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 no,
song
no,
and
no,
dance over and over and over again?
no, 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 no. So let me
Yeah.
get let me.
Uh-oh.
I,
What did he say? What did he say that I said?
no, he didn't say anything.
Okay.
So
Okay. Good.
I
Okay.
don't like the way people talk about Dota and League now. I don't like it. Because we bitch about the same shit. So I won't point any individuals out. But
Okay.
even when I'm looking at streamers play Dota, they're complaining about the same shit that League is complaining about, only in a
Mhm.
different context.
Yeah.
So I truly don't think. I mean, there are huge differences between Dota and League, but at its fucking core, they're the same shit. They will frustrate you the same
I
exact
mean,
way.
League was made out of Dota's shadow.
I
Of course, it's the same shit. Like,
exactly. So in my opinion, like now this is where it differs, right? Because you can definitely tell the difference between Pepsi and the difference between Coke, right?
Mhm.
They're trying to be the same thing, but obviously, or they're competing each other for the same thing, but they're obviously two different flavors. That part I agree with.
And then there's RC Cola, which is Smite.
And they have a huge cult following that
Yeah.
loves that fucking soda, right?
Yeah.
Like Jet
Yeah.
loves RC Cola.
Yeah.
Right? So it loves like real life, y'all. He loves RC Cola.
He does. Yeah. No, he does.
Yes, you're exactly right. There's like a huge group of people that love Smite, and that's all they fucking play is Smite
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever, right? So I don't want to get into the mix about what game is better than which game because they all do certain things better than others. They all do the same thing better than
Yeah.
others and all that stuff like that.
There's
I don't
certain
wanna,
aspects that both games do well. I think this is my issue with the way Brad talks about the game.
yeah, that's exactly what I was to get at. Like, not even just Brad. Like, sometimes with other people.
No, yeah, Jet does the same thing in reverse.
Yeah.
Like, and this is why I'm so tired of the circular like situation we're having with these two games because I like them both for different reasons, and I'm willing to play them both realistically. But the Brad and Jet have gotten so diametrically opposed with this situation that it has become like seriously frustrating to me because I don't want to be a third wheel in Dota with Hunter and Brad. Okay, if we had a fourth, I would play Dota. I'm not going to play with the three of us because I'm going to be in the off lane playing with a rando while the two of them are having a blast down at the bottom together. Like I'm not doing that. Okay, like
I forgot Dota does 2-1-2.
yes,
Right?
it's
Okay.
2-1-2 for the most part. And I'm not doing that with them unless we can get a fourth person to try and play the game. And I'm like. I haven't like explained this to Brad or anything, but I was trying to tell him the other day too that the other problem I have with Dota at this point is they continue to lean into the complexity layer of the game. They're adding more mechanics every patch. They just added more. Like they added this thing called facets to the game. Every single character in the game now has two different things they can choose from before the game starts. It's almost like room pages, sort of, but it's like a
Okay.
really like super rudimentary form of it. But basically, what they do is it completely changes the way the character plays in certain cases, where it like will significantly change one ability and make it behave totally differently, and that'll change the items you might buy, the way you play the character, things like that. And I'm just, dude, I'm at the point where I'm like, dude, I like to play Dota as a very like in League I have like 3 or 4 characters I play, right? Like I'm okay with that in League. In Dota, I was the total opposite. I played like 30 characters and I loved playing 30 characters. I didn't really want to be like a one trick in any of them, you know?
Yeah.
I played different roles. I played support. I played off lane. I played safe lane. I played off lane support. I did everything except for mid, really. And even mid, I played actually. Now that I say that, like there were some mids that I would play sometimes if I was forced into it. So I played every role in Dota, and like I kind of still want to be that way now. But this is the problem. The game has now become so complicated that I can't even play the characters I think I know how to play very well. You know, it's like it's so frustrating. So I tried to tell Brad that, and he's just like, "Oh, it's not that complicated, bro. You just like there's guides in the game, and you just follow the guide, man. Like it doesn't need to be that complicated." And I'm like, I don't want to play like that all the time, though. Like I want to know the game and play the game and understand the game. And it's like to understand the game like that, I feel like I need like a fucking PhD at this point, you know? And that's Dota's issue for me right now is that
Hmm.
it's too complicated of a game. League is on the complete other side of the spectrum where it's simplified and it is honed to a sheen in that simplification. You know, it's not. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not complicated because it is very complicated. But it's not at that layer. It's not like there's not 8 layers of complexity to the league. You know, there's rune pages, there's champions, and then there's items, and that's like kind of it. And then there's the map, you know, and the way with the way you move around the map and stuff. It's like there's an like those are all things that me at age 34 I can wrap my head around and really learn and like get good at understanding, you know. It's like with Dota there's like 20 things, you know. It's like it's just gotten insane, and then they all interconnect, and they fucking it's like an exponential web of like this champion with this item with this facet with this talent with this fucking, you know, activated item. You do this at this time, you're in this lane against this fucking matchup, and it's just, dude, it's so fucking complicated. Like what the fuck? You know, it's like obviously you just play the game and you'll figure it out over time, right? Like that's true, and that's still true now, but this is the thing. Like there are elements to the game, like Montrell. This is wild. Like I'm like you. Can you imagine this happening in League? There are mechanics in Dota, like entire pieces of the game in the map that in pub games low level players do not ever interact with. They don't do them at all. They don't touch it. There is a boss that drops an item that upgrades your skills, literally makes your skills better. And you can buy this item in the shop, but there's a boss that drops it for free if you kill it as a team. Pub players at low level MMR do not do that boss ever. I've never played a Dota game since that was introduced where that team has ever done that. Either team, you know. Can you imagine in League like you don't do the dragon? Like, can you imagine that? Because that's the equivalent. Like that happens in Dota all the time. There are tons of things in Dota that low level players literally don't even do. Denying most players don't do it at low level, low elo, like low MMR. You know, it's like there's so much complexity in the game. The skill ceiling in Dota is insane. It's so intimidating. So I'm going on a rant. I'm sorry. I just talked for like 5 minutes straight about this, but like that's where like Brad and Jet piss me off because they are refusing to compromise. They're just being fanboys, like in the opposite direction. I think Jet's doing it just to piss Brad off, really. Like, I don't really think he actually cares that much. But Brad is like so invested in Dota to a degree that I do not understand. Like, he cannot see the game's flaws. Like, and it's really frustrating because the game has flaws. It's not perfect. I'd like Dota a lot, but it is not a perfect game, you know? So this situation to be back here again, him and Hunter are playing, and he's like, "Oh, I really want to get everybody into the game, you know, he's like get you, and then that might get Montrell, and then maybe that'll get Jet, you know." It's like, dude, you couldn't even like play World of Warcraft with us. You know, it's like, why am I gonna waste energy and time trying to convince Montrell or Jet or anybody to play this fucking game when you might drop it next week? You know, it's like I can't do this shit. You know, it's like, if you come to me and you and Jet come to me and Brad and Hunter and say, "Oh, let's play Dota together, guys. Let's do a 5-stack." Absolutely, I'm all there. Is that
Yeah.
ever going to happen though? No, probably
Well,
not. You
well,
know?
because this is where I was telling Jet. I said I think Dota is a really cool game. It's a really
Yeah.
cool game to watch.
Yes. Oh, it is an amazing game to watch.
Yeah, it's a really cool game to watch. Um, I probably would never play it, and I told my friend with Smite because I think DJ wanted to play Smite with me, and somebody else wanted to play Smite, and I tried to play Smite.
Yeah.
And I just told him like straight up, I'm like, listen, I have my soda.
Yeah.
My soda is Coke.
Yeah.
Or if you want to say
Right.
Pepsi, because Coke was first and Dota was first.
Sure.
So Pepsi, right? And that's League of Legends for me. And I like League of Legends. I learned the ins and outs of League of Legends.
I would argue I'd argue it's actually the opposite now. It is not a perfect analogy. League is way more popular than Dota. So
Okay.
League has become Coke.
Okay.
I guess
So
that's the analogy.
But yeah, so I started my mobile career with League, and I'm used to League. I learned the ins and outs of League. I'm still learning League because it's an ever changing game, which is my biggest thing about the game. I hate the micro patches every fucking week.
That completely changed characters.
Yeah, it's fucking insane.
No, you have to constantly play if you want to keep up.
Exactly, because your character can be completely different if you even take a 6-month leave or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the characters. I literally know almost every character, how they play, how to lane against them, how to jungle against them, whatever. And I take pride in that. Like I know this game. Even when a new character comes out, me personally only have to learn one new character. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter to me, but I can understand somebody getting new into the game and they have to learn 140 characters or 45 characters, I think it is now, something like that. That's a huge undertaking. So I can only imagine going into like Dota or Smite, even though I know there's not as many characters in those games. I'm like, I don't feel like having to learn all these. Then on top of that, I gotta learn the mechanics. Then on top of that, I gotta learn, denying and not denying. I gotta learn when to roam because it's gonna be the roam timers are gonna be
stacking jungle camps,
stacking jungle camps and stuff like that.
Jungle routes that you take.
I am not gonna want to be stuck in low elo mode. I want to learn like what the top people are playing or how it's actually supposed to be played and stuff like that. So it's like
you'll never be able to apply those ideas though, because no one in low MMR does that shit.
Exactly.
They try to do it and they fail at it because they're bad. Like they're not.
Yeah.
It's
and that's why I do like League, because even though there's a huge skill ceiling between low MMR or low elo and high elo, if you apply the knowledge from high elo to low elo, you can climb because you can learn the knowledge and everything like that. Or whatever the case.
The game's tighter. It's just a tighter game.
Yeah.
Like Dota is a lot more loosey goosey.
Yeah.
Where like you can counter somebody with your hero pick and you can lose as the counter. It's like if you don't play it right, like you don't play well enough, it's totally possible for that to happen. League, that's a lot harder. That is an issue with League, but
that is an issue with League, yes.
But like in Dota, dude, it comes so much more down to execution sometimes and like just item builds you choose to do, and it's I don't know.
Yeah, so that's where I stand on it. I told Jet yesterday, I like that's where I stand on it, bro. I'm like, I don't think one's better than the other. I have my game I like to play, and I'm going to stick to this game. Yeah. And like, now, like as far as shooters and all the other shit, I'll try everything else with y'all. But MOBAs, my brain capacity can only handle one MOBA. I'm sorry, and I don't understand how you and Brad and everybody else can do 2 MOBA. I mean, you grew up playing.
I mean, I can't though. That's what I'm telling you. That is what I'm saying. Is I am in League mode now. Like I can't, dude. I tried to play with them several months ago, and dude, like the games we played for the most part, I was miserable. Like I felt like I felt like I was in the middle of an ocean with like no paddle and no boat. Like I don't even know where to go. Like what am I supposed to be doing at any given time? I don't know anymore. The game is so different from what I played back in the day, like I was a fiend for Dota, Montreal. The way you're a fiend for League, like I was a fucking fiend for Dota. Look at my Steam profile, bro. Like the hours are in there. Like I was a psycho. Okay, like I was when Dota 2 came out in 2012. Like it came out in beta. Like I was in it for years, like 4 or 5 years probably until like 2016, 2017. I was playing multiple times a week that entire time probably. Like and I had a friend from high school that I got into the game, and him and I would just duo together all the time, dude. We played for fucking years, like years and years. And like, but dude, it's been 7 or 8 years since I did that. Like the game is totally fucking different now. Like at that point in time, hero talents didn't exist. The map wasn't the way it is now. There were no facets. Half the items in the game didn't exist. You know, there were probably 10% less champions in the game. You know, it's just like the game is so different now. It's like there's just so much more to it. And it, like we've been saying, if you aren't playing it every week, coming back into it is really hard. It's not like riding a bicycle, dude. It's like it, it's like riding a bicycle and strapping a jet engine to it, and then you need to figure out how to fucking ride that. You know, it's like it's just not the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
So I
So
don't know. And like Brad keeps like posting these like clips and like screenshots, and he's like tagging me in it, and like he's like, "Oh man, look, we dominated, bro." And it's just like, great, man. I'm glad you're having fun, dude, but like I just
I
don't know if I have it in me. I can't. I don't know.
I don't know. So that's another thing too, right? We dominate sometime in league, and we fucking hate it because it's like too easy. So it's like,
That happens in Dota too. The games I played with them, there were games where I dominated. I did. And I felt like I played like shit. And I'm like, why am I dominating this game? This like I'm not even playing that well, and I'm wrecking these people. Like it's not even fucking funny. Like there was a game, oh, fuck. Was it Timbersaw? I think it was Timbersaw, where I like got ahead and I was like terrorizing the enemy team, dude. Like they could not fight me. Like even with like 4 people there, I'm just running through them. They're like I'm just regenning all the damage they do. You know, it's fucking silly. Like it was stupid. So I don't know. Like I agree with you there too. It's like I don't want to steamroll people. I don't want to get steamrolled, but that's just going to be the reality. If
yeah, that's the reality. But my thing is like, so I guess this is like one of our friends specific. I mean, we said his name. I don't like calling him out, but like I don't want to be like, we get into this game. This is going to happen. We get into the game, and then we all reach a wall where, like, the MMR starts matching us up with either similar people skill or higher level skill. And he's going to get frustrated, and he want to leave the game. He doesn't want to play the fucking game anymore.
yeah, he's having fun because he's in a honeymoon phase where like
Yeah,
he feels like the game is fun still, and like I because that's my point too, right? That was what I was saying earlier. Like I've been through this with him with World of Warcraft, with fucking League, with I can't even remember other games at this point. It's like been so long. But Ion, he did it. I remember like when we were playing Ion Classic last year. Like he hit a wall with that game. Oh, Final Fantasy 14, that was another one. You know, it's just I don't want to invest time into learning Dota again for that to happen because I'm gonna be livid. You know, it's
yeah,
like and I've already been talking about this year. Like I pulled back, man. Like I have not been playing multiplayer at all nearly as much, you know.
yeah,
And I'm a little bit more in the mood for it right now, like currently, because there's just like there's not a lot of games coming out, so I'm not feeling the impetus to like play anything super current right now. I mean, there's stuff I want to play, but so I have a little bit more time maybe for multiplayer right now, but eventually when we hit later in the year probably like I'm gonna probably have to pull back again in order to play single player stuff again.
yeah, and that's understandable. I think the which is funny though. The one game we all unanimously stopped playing was Apex,
Mm-hmm.
because I think we all just was like, I mean, I know Jet. If I jump on it and I'm like, hey Jet, you want to play it? He'll play it with me.
Yeah, he'll play.
But I think we all unanimously was like, this game is in a bad state, and it's probably never going to get in a better state because the way the community is and
Yeah.
hacking and all that shit like that.
Yeah.
I think that's the one game everyone gave up on. In PUBG or whatever, but I think we were just fucking bad. We were bad at PUBG, to be honest with you.
We definitely were.
Yeah. But
What was the map? Was it Karakin? The
Kerrigan,
small one though.
yeah,
What was that? Was that the 2x2?
yeah, that's the one we started having fun in, and we were just like, oh, we got to
Montreal,
fight more. Like we just
Montreal.
have to fight more.
I still think about that month where that map came out and it had a solo, like it had its own queue, and we played constantly on that map that month.
And it was
That
so
was probably
fun.
that was the funnest month of PUBG the entire run of the game, dude. Like that map was amazing, and when they put it in a rotation with the other maps, it ruined the game. I didn't want to play anymore. Like
Yeah,
I want to play Karakin, and that was it, dude. That map fucking ruled. Like
because it wasn't a huge map. It wasn't like 10 minutes without a fight. It was like you loot and then you fight, and then it wasn't like
it was
hot drops.
constant fighting. It
Yeah,
was constant fighting. DMRs were awesome on that map. Snipers were still good. Short range weapons were good. Everything was good on that map. Like fucking like, dude, if you wanted to play short range, then you hug cover and you get close, and then you fucking go in and you murder people. Like it was small enough where you could do that kind of shit. But dude,
you know why that map did that? They did that because the community bitched about it. That's
I
why.
know they ruined the like. I hate gamers. Like
Yeah, so
I never had more fun in PUBG than that.
yeah,
Month.
that was legitimately the funnest with the PUBG.
Dude,
And when
I
they did,
still
I think
have.
that's what we all. It was like that's what
Yeah.
we all with the Apex after they put it into the rotation. Apex
It was
came out.
literally that month. It was February. It was February of, I think it was 2020, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2020. Yeah, yep.
Because Apex came out in 2019, right?
Yeah, and it was already like 2 or 3 seasons in when we jumped into
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
It was season 4 we jumped into. Yeah, it was a year after the game came out. So yeah, no, oh my god, yeah. But anyways, so I don't know. Like, I'm down to play League. If everybody has some change of heart and they want to play Dota, I'll play Dota too. But I just like until that happens, I'm probably gonna stick with you guys on League, frankly. So
yeah. I mean, I tried to get into Dota. I was just like, man. And then I started studying and going back to for my exams. I'm like, yeah, I just don't have the brain capacity to learn 2
no,
MOBAs
I
now.
understand where you're coming from. Like, dude, we're trying to have fun in a video game, right? Like, you're not like the amount of because I remember when I first got back into it a couple of years ago, I started watching like videos on YouTube of like how to play and like what to do and what you should be doing and stuff like that. And then I quickly was like, what am I doing? Like, am I trying to be like climb fucking Dota 2 ranked or something? Like, no, dude, what am I doing? And then I dropped the game because I'm like, I don't want to do this,
And this is why I also tell like friends who are brand new at the game. I only recommend League to a certain set of people, and it's like maybe you. And I think DJ will like it too. And I was like, DJ, you will like it too, but he doesn't like the clicking aspect. He's still stuck in like Pantheon mode.
Controller, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, um, but like I remember Tiara, she was like, "Can you teach me how to play League?" And I'm like, "No," because this game is fucking toxic as shit. You're
Don't
gonna get
know
toxic as
what
shit.
her temperament would have
No, she would
she would have
fucking throw
been
her computer out the window, bro.
she would
Like,
have been very, very angry, yeah.
yeah. Um, and it's just not. It's not a game for everybody. I don't even like the game sometimes. I fucking hate it sometimes. Um, even when like newer streamers talk about the game, it's not even the game itself. But sometimes it's just the community. It's just like the people you encounter, the decisions they make on the map, and you're just like, why are you doing that? What is in your brain that because you're paired up with not with 4 other people randomly in ranked solo queue, and you guys have one objective: win,
Yep.
and everybody has their own way of winning. And sometime you may catch the person at the wrong day. Their wife may have just left them. Their husband may have just left them. They may have just failed an exam, or they have exams the next day. In
Got
their
fired
state of
from their
mind,
job, laid
yeah,
off. Yeah,
in
right.
their state of mind, you have to be in a good state of mind to play this game. It's just I don't know. I compare it to like a sport. Like sometimes you have to be in a good state of mind to like play tennis, to play basketball, play pick up something or whatever. And yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we went on a tangent already, and we're already like
Well,
hour
last
40.
last thing,
Yeah,
you guys are a bad influence on me because when I used to play by myself, I was very gracious to randos who were having a bad game, because I always had that perspective that yeah, you don't know what they've gone through that day. Like, you don't know what their day is like. Or they might just be having a bad game. They might be a good player that's just playing poorly. That happens. There's a range of play that happens when you play a competitive game.
Mm.
And I always had grace, and now I'm just like, I just call everybody fucking retards and fucking like
Well, listen,
I hate these randos. I can't stand randos. Fuck, it's
yeah,
like,
but you got to understand, we're doing that on Discord between us. We
no,
don't
I
say
know,
we
I
don't
know.
say it in
I don't
chat.
say anything in chat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I only say something in chat when someone says something to me, and then even when they say something to me, I just mute myself because I'm like, I don't want to get banned, so I just
yeah,
mute myself instantly. So I don't say nothing to them, and that is my grace to them. But I am going to cuss them out. Here's this is like, oh, you're dealing with those fucking retarded teammates again. I was like, yes. Why did you go for Dragon Wind? So it's like,
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah. All right, fair enough. Anything else you're playing?
no, that's it. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, so real quickly, I've been playing Civ 6. I mentioned, whatever. There's nothing really new to say there. I got back into Against the Storm as the game I was kind of playing by myself on my Steam Deck. Still enjoying the game. I did hit a wall though, like a difficulty wall. That I'm kind of hitting with the game, and was getting a little frustrated with it. But I'm just kind of. I think I'm trying to take the game too fast. I haven't like gotten through all the progression stuff for like leveling my character or my, I don't know what to call it, your character in this game, where you get like perks and stuff. I haven't done all of that to the point where like I need to like move up a tier. I can still kind of grind at the lower levels first. So I'm gonna do that, I think, in the game if I'm gonna continue playing it. And then on my phone, I was just playing like Wuthering Waves and Honkai Star Rail to just like do something at night. I will say playing Wuthering Waves on a phone is one of the most miserable experiences I think I've ever had. It's horrible. Like, it feels like absolute dog shit to play without a controller, which is fine. It's an action game. Like, it's not a surprise. It just was, oh God, I'd never want to do that again. And Honkai is so much easier to play because it's turn based. There's not a lot of like fine movement happening in that game. So yeah. All right, Montrell, let's get into the news. I do want to. So obviously, I wasn't here last week. All the Summer Game Fest, Xbox Showcase happened. Ubisoft thing happened. I did want to give some thoughts on that stuff before we jump into the main news for this week. So Summer Game Fest. I think you titled the episode last week "Summer Snooze Fest."
Yeah.
That was definitely appropriate. There was really not a lot going on here. The biggest thing that came out of it, frankly, was the Lego Horizon reveal to me, and that
Yeah.
was like the first thing they showed. And I do think that is a very interesting concept. I am wondering. Some people have speculated that this might be the remake of the first game that we had heard rumors about, because that is what this game is doing. It is going to be, so there might not be another remake coming of the
Okay.
first game,
Yeah.
which
This
I think
makes
would be
sense.
way more. That would make way more sense than what we were hearing, before, and I think that's way more appropriate. I will say it looks fun, like it's a really cool concept. I will say instantaneously, it's probably going to make Aloy way more likable to people because she actually like talks and sounds like she's having fun, whereas in the game she's just miserable all the time. So that's interesting. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to really play it, but it is interesting. I will say the other thing, we're going to get into this in the Nintendo Direct. This game's coming to Switch as well, which is very interesting. So there's some weird stuff going on in games right now with the platform holders kind of working with each other. The other thing I wanted to mention was the Civ 7 reveal. I couldn't stop laughing when I was watching this because what were they thinking with the cinematic trailer reveal for a fucking 4X strategy turn-based strategy game like that has no narrative, no story at all? Like, the idea that people got hyped off this is like absolutely laughable to me. Like, and I know people did. We've known this game is coming for a long time. They're literally going to make us wait till August before we actually get to see the fucking game and see any mechanics from it. This shit was so fucking stupid. Like, go to the Xbox conference and see how they showed Age of Mythology, the Age of Mythology remake or remaster, whatever you want to call that. That's how they should have done it, and that was a way better trailer and actually got me hyped for that game. Like, I am like kind of interested in Age of Mythology. I never actually played it, back in the day. So, whereas Civ 7, I'm just like, whatever, dude. I like wake me up when you fucking show the fucking game for Axis. Like, so I don't know. I'm just like a hater. I'm a fucking hater with Civ. So it is what it is. Just take that for what it is. But they don't deserve, they do not deserve the love that they get. I'm just gonna be frank about that. Like I don't think they handled the series very well personally. Um the only other thing really that came out of here was the that mecha game. What was it? Mecha Break. I
Yeah,
knew you
back
were
to
gonna.
break.
I knew this shit was gonna get you because I heard you guys talking about it last week, and you were like, "Oh, this fucking armor car bullshit," and then you're like, "Oh fuck, it's like a Gundam game, bro." I'm like, this shit looked pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. That actually does look really sick. And then the only other thing was Monster Hunter Wilds. What we saw, that more of that. They pretty much confirmed. I mean, dude, it's gonna be an open world game. It sounds like. I don't know if all the areas are gonna be in one open map. I'm kind of hoping for that. But they did say that the areas themselves are going to be at least 2 times larger than World. So that is very exciting. This is going to be, I mean, it's over. I've already, I mean, we've been joking about
Yeah,
this
we
already, but
already. Yeah, I already gave up,
I'm
man.
buying the
I'm
game when it
buying
comes
it.
out.
Yeah, I'm buying it when it
I'm
comes
not
out.
waiting for G rank. Sorry, like
Yeah,
they got me, man. I'm just a slut for Monster Hunter. I can't. I don't know what else to do. There's like I can't help myself at this point. I mean, this is what we've always wanted, isn't it?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. This
bro,
is.
like this is it. This was the vision for the series. Like, and they said that too, that they want players to feel like they're in a living, breathing ecosystem, you know? And that is just so fucking exciting, you know? So I'm fucking ready for it. So outside of that, I mean that was pretty much it, dude, from Summer Games Fest. Like it was pretty boring. Ubisoft, I didn't watch, so I don't have anything to say there.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
do
watch
want to
it
say,
either.
well, the only other thing actually was Dragon Age. Wasn't that a Summer Games Fest? The trailer
No,
for
that
that?
was at the Xbox
Oh,
thing.
that was at Xbox. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I'll
Actually, that was
start.
the day after Xbox. That was the day after Xbox. They did their own little side thing.
No, it was at Xbox. You're right.
It
Like they
was
did the
okay.
cinematic trailer and then they did the gameplay showcase a day later.
Okay.
And that cinematic trailer was horrible for Dragon Age. I don't know how that passed muster from anybody from PR. Like, what the fuck were you
I
guys thinking,
I
dude?
I thoroughly think. Someone made a good point. Actually, I'm gonna let you finish your thought. Keep going. Yeah.
I just think it was laughable. Like they just presented the game like it was like something that it isn't, you know?
Yeah.
And it made it like it, it had that like quippy dialogue. It just sounded like a Marvel like Avengers game in like in Dragon Age. It's just like what are we doing here? So to then show the gameplay the next day, which I didn't fully watch, but I saw enough of it to get an idea that it's like this isn't what the game is at all. Like what the fuck? Like what are we doing here? So yeah, go ahead.
Um, but no, like, we didn't get to like the Switch or whatever, right? So the Nintendo Direct, and this is just like in general. Someone tweeted, and it really made perfect sense why it clicked in my head. Sony and Xbox and even Ubisoft, the way Western companies do their presentations are almost like presentations for shareholders. They don't do it for gamers. Um,
Shareholders aren't watching these presentations.
but exactly, but like when I watch this, that's the thing that sticks with me in the state of play. It looks like it's for a shareholder, but also they're trying to target gamers. Whereas when I watch Nintendo Direct, they're like, these are the games coming out, and these is where they're coming out. And they may show a cinematic trailer here and there, but they always, almost 95% of the time, they're
Show
showing
gameplay.
gameplay.
Yep.
And they're like, this is coming out next month. This is coming out next week. This is coming out today. This is coming out at the end of the year. Like,
Yeah.
they know
Right.
their audience and they present their presentation. That's why the directs are direct, because they know what gamers want. Whereas the showcases, the Summerfest, and everything of that nature, I feel like they're still stuck in this business MD, MBA, fucking shareholders conference type deal, whatever, and
Mhm.
they can't escape it. Like, there are too many suits and not enough people in the field who know with to show a gamer, if that makes any
Yeah,
sense.
right.
You
To get
know?
a gamer excited, because
Yeah.
this kind of shit does not work. Frankly, it has the opposite effect.
Yeah.
It is that trailer I think has done so much damage to that game already. Because PC gamer just like hates the fucking game. Like they just want to fucking like they want to burn Dragon Age the Veilguard to the ground.
Yeah, they keep comparing, and that's another thing I don't like, right? With PC Gamer and Dragon Age, they kept comparing
Yeah.
it to fucking Baldur's Gate 3. I'm like, bro, just go play Baldur's Gate 3. Like,
No, they need to move on
yeah,
because like Dragon Age hasn't been a CRPG in what 13 years,
yeah, since
like
Dragon Age
14 years. Dragon Age
Origins.
2.
Yeah,
No, Dragon Age 2.
no,
Like
Dragon Age 2 was not a CRPG. That was an
that's what I'm
action game.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, and that came out in 2011,
Yeah,
2010.
yeah, 2011, 2010, something like that.
Yeah. So they need to move on because as much as Dragon Age Origins is great, was
Yep,
a great game.
it was a great game.
And they actually, so you guys were talking about Awakening last week. That was a separate campaign, using the same engine that was not related to the game.
Oh,
From what I
okay.
understand, so it was actually different content that I've never played. I'm actually kind of curious to go play it, given the fact that Dragon Age isn't a CRPG anymore. But yeah, they need to move on from that. Like, I don't know why they're clinging to that. Like, it feels like they feel emboldened by Baldur's Gate 3 being so popular, but it's like, dude, like that's just not the game they're trying to make anymore. Like the series isn't that. You just forcing that expectation onto it isn't really fair. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see with Dragon Age. Other games in the Xbox showcase I want to get to. Doom. Doom looks sick. I'm not a big Doom player, but it looks like more Doom. That looks really good. State of Decay 3. I really want to try one of these games. And I don't know if this is going to be the one because every game they release that feels like there's major issues at launch with these games.
Yeah.
But State of Decay 3, it just like conceptually sounds really cool. I don't know. It feels like a game our group maybe like could get into. And that could be really fun. But I might be getting my hopes too high there.
I played State of Decay 1. Unfortunately I didn't play 2. 2 was online. I played 1, and if you like, it's weird because it's almost like a cozy zombie apocalypse.
Cozy.
Yeah, it's not even a cozy game though. It's not cozy at all.
Yeah.
But it's like it has the elements of a gathering game because
Yeah, like a Harvestella or
yeah,
like a
Harvestella,
Stardew Valley or something. Yeah.
yeah, because you send people in State of Decay 1, you will send your NPCs out to get stuff, and then you can do missions yourself. There is an end game, like there's a goal and everything like that. So it isn't like a continuous game,
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be. But yeah, you build your base up, and you do this and that and third, and you assign people to certain things and all that other stuff like that. And one thing I do like about the game as well that other games kind of fail to do, when you do a mission and say like you send an NPC out to do another mission, you can actually see them walking and doing their mission, and you can help them out and stuff like that.
Well, they might like, don't they like sometimes they'll get into a bind and you have to go save them and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And I thought that was just so fucking cool. And like I said, I didn't play State of Decay 2. I know that's the one that's online as well. I think that's online. State of Decay 1, I don't believe is online, but State of Decay 2, I believe you can do that online. And then 3, obviously, I think that's going to be online as well. But yeah, I love State of Decay. It was one of his biggest fans. Unfortunately, I didn't play State of Decay 2, which I should go back and play. But yeah, I don't know. Just from a single player perspective, State of Decay 1 was like, it was like a really good time for me, and I was just like, I would play it for hours, bro, like hours, because it was just so fun. But yeah, I don't know. I say try 1, see if you like it, and then upgrade from there.
Okay. Next game I wanted to talk about was Expedition 33.
Oh my god, this game!
This was probably the most striking game in the entire presentation.
Man, this game, man.
Yeah, I've heard some people call it Final Fantasy. Dude, when the trailer started and they're like doing the thing, I'm just like, they're showing not gameplay. I was just like, yeah, okay, cool concept, I guess. And then the gameplay starts and it's a turn-based game, and I'm like, wait, okay, all right, I'm in on this, dude. Like that, it looks fucking sick. I'm actually like pretty interested in this one for sure. So because the other thing with all these games they showed, I mean, presumably I'm pretty sure they're all going to be on Game Pass. So that's pretty sick actually. So yeah, that game looks sick. Let's see, World of Warcraft. Oh, Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater. This looked a lot better than I was expecting. I'm actually like intrigued. Like it sounds like they're doing this right, and they're not going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, obviously they got to stick the landing or whatever, but
I just do want to say one thing about this game.
yeah,
I feel so bad for this game already. Um, it's gonna get the online hate mob. The game has went woke type situation. I know it is. There is a character in the game that's clearly bisexual. Um, and he actually like gropes like snakes in a disguise. He gropes them and everything.
yeah, but that happened in the original game.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah,
people are gonna say, "Oh, it's woke," and they're adding this and that. So
God,
I don't know, man. That's all I gotta say.
kill me. um, yeah, so that looks pretty good. Flintlock looks cool. It kind of looks like kind of reminded me of God of War, I guess. Like
Yeah, people were saying it reminded me of Dark Souls. I was like, this reminded me of God of War a lot.
no, yeah, I'm getting more God of War vibes out of it. And the more recent God of Wars, the reboot God of Wars, not the old ones, obviously.
Yeah.
That looked pretty cool. It's coming out, I mean, next month, so probably not going to play it anytime soon, but definitely an intriguing looking game. Age of Mythology, I already mentioned. That looks sick. Perfect Dark was the next one. I did not expect to see this game this year. That it was cool to see, and it looked a lot better than any of us could have possibly hoped with some of the rumors we've heard.
Yeah.
I know you guys were mentioning like, it kind of looks like a Deus Ex game, and yeah, it does for sure. It looks really cool. This is probably the game I would say, besides maybe Expedition 33, that I'm most interested in from this presentation. Maybe Fable coming up. I'm going to get into, but this game definitely looks really cool. And I don't know. I'm happy that it's happening. Honestly, like I kind of thought it was dead.
My biggest fear with this game is that this whole entire thing was fake. Like
You mean the trailer?
Yeah, like Anthem levels fake.
Like it was a vertical slice type
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. That's my fear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's coming next year. They said 2025 for it. So I guess we'll see. We'll see on that one. After that was, let's see, Fable was the next one I wanted to talk about. No gameplay really here. I think there were like some very short, super short snippets.
Yeah.
In here. I just have to say though, like I think the thing about this, obviously they haven't really shown a lot of gameplay of this game yet, and I think people are skeptical of that, obviously. But the thing I just think they're getting the tone right, with the characters and the dialogue and everything. And that's exciting to me, I guess. Like to be honest, this is probably the game I am most excited about from this whole thing. It's probably this game, and then like Expedition 33 and like Perfect Dark are probably tied for second. Like I don't know why I have a good feeling about Fable though. Like it feels like they're on the right track with it. And it is coming next year. That's the window they gave it. We'll see if it hits that. I really feel like it has to. Like this game has been in development for a very long time. Same with Perfect Dark, actually. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know. I don't have much more to say. There's not a lot more to talk about here. But did you have anything else you wanted to elaborate on it?
On Fable, yeah. So Fable, I think this game's gonna be weird because I'm just talking about the state and culture of gaming and stuff like that. I think this game's going to get a little bit of termly online left and right pushback. I think the right, because they were like, "Oh, the girl's ugly," and I mean, she looks like an average woman on the street. I
think she's cute.
Yeah, I think she's cute too. That's what I'm saying. She looks like an average woman. She doesn't need to look like fucking Eve,
I like that they doubled down on her though, like because they almost at the beginning of the trailer they made it sound like she wasn't the main character.
Yeah.
And then they bring her in, and it's like, okay.
So that's getting to my second point.
Yeah.
I don't need people saying, why can't my character be Black, Mexican, Chinese, whatever the case may be? I don't need people saying that. None of the Fable games had a character creator. You
Yeah.
chose. I think in 2 you can choose between a man and a woman.
Yeah.
3 you can definitely choose between a man and a woman. 1 and 2 you were a boy, and that was it. You didn't even. I
Yeah.
think you may have chosen your name, but that was it. You didn't. There were no character creators or nothing like that. Like you were a
Mhm.
kid, and a little white boy in Albion, and
Yeah.
it was your adventure. You know what I'm saying? Like that
Yeah.
was it.
Yeah.
So I don't need people saying like this isn't Fable. Like you didn't play the old Fable games. So I actually like this from a narrative perspective. How they're keeping. If this is true, if this is the character I'm going to be playing as, I like how they're keeping that tradition. Like you actually do not pick your character or
Yeah.
design your character. This is the character you're playing as. I
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Same. Frag Punk was the next game I wanted to talk about. This game actually looks kind of cool, man. It's it looks like a hero shooter of some sort, but you get to like manipulate the game settings basically. Like that's like the gimmick in the game.
You're a sucker
And
for cards. You're such a sucker for cards, man.
no, I mean it's a cool idea. You make everybody big head mode so they're easier to shoot in the head. Like that's
Yeah.
cool, dude. That's a cool idea. I don't know. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like this is cooler than what they were doing with Concord. Like that. Like this popped more than that to me.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
I liked it. I'm wondering if it's going to be free to play. Most likely it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, it did look fucking cool though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. After that was let's see, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So this is another one. This one people were being kind of rough on this one. I thought the short gameplay sections that they showed that they're like, oh man, this game looks so boring or whatever. What I want to say though is this is another game, like I mentioned this with Fable, is the tone of the trailer feels right. Like I'm not a big Indiana Jones fan, but this feels like what Indiana Jones is,
Yeah. Yep.
with the cinematic they showed. And I think that alone could do a lot of good for the game. So whether the gameplay is good or not, we'll see, I guess. But that was my one thought on that. So and then after that, there really was. Oh, this is where Mecha Break was in Xbox. Avowed, man, I'm not. I don't know how you feel about this game, dude, but I'm not feeling Avowed, bro. I don't know.
I think the gameplay they showed was a lot better than when they first showed it. I will say
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Um, I think this game was going to turn out to be a surprise banger, in my opinion. But I think it's one of those games where you just have to play
yeah.
or whatever. I don't think it's going to be a game that, like, if you watch somebody play Monster Hunter, you're like, okay, I don't get it. But then once you play it,
Yeah,
you're like, okay, I get it now. I
that's
think
true. It's
I
fair.
think Avowed is going to be one of those games. But I was just like you, bro. The first time they showed it, I was just like, I don't fucking get it, bro. What the fuck am I? But then they showed this gameplay, and then they showed another game that's kind of similar to it that already came out, and I was like, okay, I can actually get behind this or whatever. It
Mhm.
was an older game. Uh, so I am kind of looking forward to it, but it's definitely not going to be a first day pickup for me though.
Yep. And then the last one I wanted to talk about was just Gears of War E-Day. This is the thing they needed to do to revitalize Gears to me.
Yes.
I'll probably play this game because Marcus and Dom, they're the goats. The series without them is just not appealing. Like I just
Yeah, and that's why I said to DJ, I played the other Gears games. They're really good stories, but it just doesn't have the same. Gears is inherently like a dude bro game, and you just have to embrace that.
absolutely, man.
And I
Yeah, dude.
and I
Dude,
know they try to
Soul
be a little
Train
bit
is a fucking football player in universe. Like, come on, man.
like, and I know they tried to make it more. I hate using this word, inclusive, and I think they actually did a good job with Gears 4 and 5.
Yeah.
They showed that like women can be dude bros too, and like everything like that. But it was just the original 4, man. Like Dom, fucking, is it what's his name? Briar,
Baird.
Baird,
Yeah.
Baird, Coltrane, and fucking Marcus, man. Like that's the original 4. And then if you want to add Carmine into there, you can. Carmine
Yeah.
into his brothers, like you can as well. But yeah, I just think like that was the original 4, bro, and like we grew up with them. Especially with Dom, man. Like everybody remembers Dom, and
Yeah.
how he was just like the best sidekick to have, and I don't even think he was like a sidekick. He was just like the best friend to have in game. Um, so I don't know. You didn't like Stalker or Wu Chang Fallen Feathers?
Stalker. I mean, like, I don't have anything against Stalker or anything like that. It's just not something I'm like looking to play, I guess,
Gotcha.
like that kind of game. I know, like, I don't know.
It's not
I know I
online, by the way. That's offline.
No,
Like,
I know.
yeah,
I know I've like pined for old school shooters at different points, and I think Stalkers like kind of gives you that experience. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I'm not like I'm not like super interested in it. I guess I'm sure it's gonna be one of those series where like someday I'm gonna go play the Stalker games, and then I'm gonna come on the podcast and I'm gonna be like, oh my fucking god, Stalker, it's gonna be one of those situations. Like I know it's gonna happen like that, so it's like a headspace thing. Like I just don't have room for it right now. I guess like I don't want to like put it on my plate on top of everything else I'm already interested in.
gotcha.
So it'll happen someday. And it'll be great. I'll play like 3 Stalker games in a row, and it'll be fucking awesome. That's where I don't, because I have the same problem with BioShock. I've never played any of the BioShock games, you know, and if I said that to certain people, most people in the industry, they would be like, "What?" Like, and I'd just be like, you guys have all raved about it so much. Like, do I even need to play it? Like, I'm sure I'll play it someday and come on and again be like, oh my god, BioShock's incredible.
It is an incredible game.
Yeah,
BioShock 1. I'm not too privy on the other ones, but
the rest of
1
them.
is
Yeah,
definitely like really good. Yeah.
yeah. And then the other one, Wu Chang or Wu Chang,
Yeah,
Fallen
Wuchang,
Feathers.
yeah, Wuchang,
Yeah.
Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers
Um,
or whatever.
yes, I forgot about this one. Yeah, this looked really good. Um, this like it's got a little bit of vibes of like Stellar Blade a little bit. It, it looks a little tighter though, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. So no, it's an intriguing game.
You know what it
It's gonna
reminds me
depend
of?
on
It reminds me of
yeah.
like a Sekiro Neo comet had a baby. And
Yeah. I can see that. I can kind of see that for sure. Because yeah, there's like a transformation. It looks like, which
yeah,
is Neo did that for sure. And yeah, it's coming 2025. So no, I don't know. That's an interesting game for sure. Um, yeah. So outside of that, there wasn't. I don't want to. There's not really any other games I wanted to talk about. But overall, I want to say like obviously this was a great showcase. This is probably the best one we've gotten this generation from anybody.
hmm
Um, but I think I guess my question is like, will it matter? Like,
uh,
is it too late?
it's too
I
late.
guess.
It's too late. In
Yeah.
my opinion, it's too late. Everyone is raving, praising Xbox for their
But are they gonna go buy an Xbox?
exactly. I think the only game right now that people are like, I am buying the Xbox for is Fable. I
Yeah.
didn't know Fable as a longtime Fable fanboy. I thought we were a cult following. I did
Mhm.
not know Fable had that much pull on people. Like,
Oh, it's huge, dude.
yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There are people who are like, yeah, I would buy an Xbox for Fable. I think Perfect Dark, if Perfect Dark proves to be what it is, I think that might be a system seller, in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
that game looks really fucking dope. In my opinion.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, if all these games come out in 2025, I might dust off Game Pass next year. you know, and turn the Xbox on because yeah, no, there's a lot of good stuff in here. And I don't know, there's a lot of games that to actually be excited about for once.
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm personally sitting here like I might actually play like 3 or 4 of these games.
Yeah, it's the same. I was just looking
Um,
at this was a really good lineup. Oh, this is also one of the first showcases that besides Nintendo Direct, where it was just like game. It wasn't it didn't feel like a show. And I think Xbox finally got that. They're like, maybe we don't need to do a fucking shareholders presentation type deal. I only saw Phil Spencer like one time, and that was at the beginning of the fucking show. And ever since then, it was like world premiere, world
Also,
premiere, world premiere.
yeah, Matt Booty, like what? Stop rolling him out, Xbox.
Yeah,
Like
he's not.
we need to see less of this guy.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
like
not. His PR. They need to work on his PR. They do.
yeah, I don't know. Like I don't like the dude, and I don't want to see him in these showcases. But actually, I did misspeak earlier. Perfect Dark did not have a release date on it or a release window at all.
Okay.
So I will say that is a little concerning, I guess, because I think that's the thing. That was my main takeaway here, is that Xbox threw a lot of windows out, release windows and timings, and there was a leak of Avowed's release date of November. They need to hit these. They need to hit these windows. Like they can't be delaying any of these games, dude.
Yeah, I think Perfect Dark is the biggest one besides Fable. Those
Yeah.
two games need to come out like this generation within the
Yes,
next year. Like
I agree.
they have to,
By the end of 2025 at the latest.
Yeah.
Like
I
at the latest.
and it would have been really good if they had to hit a window this year because PlayStation really doesn't have anything major to announce right now.
Yeah.
And this would have been the year to get a lot of people on your side, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Nintendo, because Nintendo's at the end of their life cycle as well. So like this would have been a perfect time to hit that window.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with you. It is probably too little too late for the, like, in terms of the console, saving the console. I mean, I'm sure there will be an uptick in sales of some sort, I would imagine, but when they're as far behind as they are, I don't know how relevant it really is anymore to even talk about it in that perspective. Like a lot of these games, I just think they're going to be on PlayStation in a year or two, probably, or maybe 3 years. It might be that long for some of them, but at some point, these games are going to be on PlayStation,
Yeah.
and that reality is starting to become clearer and clearer to me with Xbox. So, okay, that was it for that. Let's we got another fucking thing to talk about. Nintendo Direct happened earlier this week, and it was 43 minutes. What were your overall thoughts on it?
Okay, you're probably gonna disagree with me on this one. I thought this is probably one of the worst directs I've ever seen from them. Besides
Really?
Mario and Luigi Brothership, which looks fucking awesome, by the way. I saw more gameplay of this game, and I at first I was like, on my Twitter I was like, oh, whatever, another fucking Mario RPG. But then I saw the gameplay for it, I was like,
Well,
yo, this game looks fucking dope as fuck. Like,
no, they got me for a second. I was going to be very well. Okay, let's go through. I mean, that's the first game.
Yeah.
So I do disagree with you. I don't think this was a bad direct. Like, I don't think it was the best direct I've ever seen. But for a console in the 8th year of its life, like this was a pretty strong direct to me. But yeah, Mario and Luigi. So the trailer starts and they show it, and there's like a section where they're just running around and they jump on some enemies and. There's some damage numbers that pop up above the enemies' heads, and I was like, "Wait a second,
They're doing action combat.
Yeah, are they doing what they did with Super Paper Mario with the Mario and Luigi games?" I was like, "No, don't fucking do this shit, Nintendo." And then they show the turn-based gameplay afterwards, and I was like, "Okay, good." Oh, I was like, "Oh, sigh of relief." They're not fucking this up. Okay, yeah, and I agree with you. This was probably the game I'm likeliest to play of everything they showed.
Yeah, same. And I'm not even the Super Mario RPG fan, but I don't know. This game looks super fun. They had to pay their animation department like extra because like the animations, man, during the fights in the turn by turn battles are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It just looks so fucking fun to play. I don't know why, but
Yeah, no,
yeah,
dude, no, and I mean, it's like a 3D Mario game though on top of it too.
exactly, yeah.
So there's like platforming stuff. Like this is gonna be a cool game. I think this game is, and it's coming this year, November 7th, dude. Like that is pretty strong for Nintendo, and I'm excited about it personally.
Yeah.
So after that, I mean, we can kind of go through some of these quickly here. So they showed a bunch of games, retro games they're putting on the Nintendo Online service, Fairy Tale 2, Fantasian. They're adding basketball to Nintendo Switch Sports. Woo. Mio, Memories in Orbit, Disney Illusion Island, Hello Kitty Island Adventure, Looney Tunes, Wacky Sports Game, Among Us, Farmasia.
This game was really cool to me.
Well, any of those you want to pick at, like that you want to talk about?
I'm not gonna lie. Uh, Farmasia looks dope, and Fantasian looks dope as fuck as well.
Well, Fantasian is, I believe, a remake of the actual game Fantasian.
Oh,
Like that
really?
was
Okay,
a
I've never played
game
that game before.
made. Yeah, that was made by I believe, the Final Fantasy creator, um, a long time ago, and it wasn't like very popular.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting one to see. The one that stuck out to me of this group was the Looney Tunes game. It just looks like a dumb, fun couch co-op multiplayer game to me.
It reminds me of I don't know if you ever played it. It's a very old game. It was on Super NES and Genesis, and it was uh, I forgot what the kid Looney Tunes were called.
Yeah.
Um, but they had
Oh,
the
oh my god,
yeah
Tiny Toons, Tiny
Tiny
Toons.
Toons. Yeah, it was Tiny
Yeah,
Toons Sports, and they had the same premise. They had basketball, soccer, hockey, and all that shit like that. And it
yeah,
was just the goofiest
yeah,
game ever. My brother used to play it all the time, and it reminded me of that.
yeah. No, it actually looks like really fun,
Yeah.
like stupid fun. This would be a great game to play with kids for sure. And then after that was Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Like at first my brain was like, oh, Donkey Kong Country remake. No, this is the Wii game that they're porting forward.
Oh, okay.
And that game was notoriously difficult from what I remember back in the day. I never played it, but I remember that being the big thing that I heard about it, was that it was really hard. Donkey Kong Country has always been a kind of a somewhat difficult platformer, actually.
Yeah.
None of the games are really easy, I would say.
I don't know. I just love the original Donkey Kong
Me
game.
too,
So
man. The first three are so fucking good,
yeah, and
man.
the music is just really fucking good, man.
Oh my god, fuck
Yeah.
yeah, dude! Like seriously. And then I think the next big game they showed was from Square Enix, was Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake. This has been rumored for a long time. This is huge to me. This game I feel like is gonna actually be kind of big. And it looked fucking gorgeous. Like they did a fucking phenomenal job redoing this game in this style. I just think it looks so fucking good, dude. I don't know. Like I don't even like Dragon Quest, and
Yeah,
I might play this game.
I'm not a Dragon Quest fan, so I when I saw it, I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Um, but the graphics and everything look really cool. I'm jealous because I want Chrono Trigger kind of made in this way, remade in this way.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So I'm jealous that Dragon Quest fans are getting this before the Chrono Trigger fans, because we've been asking for a remake for
yeah,
literally hundreds of years. Uh, but
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I'm glad Dragon Quest fans are getting this. I'm not, like I said, I don't really like Dragon Quest. I think it's a traditional JRPG, but too traditional in my opinion.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Definitely.
there's nothing special about the combat that I don't think it is the combat that Dragon Quest fans fall in love with. I think it's the actual story and the characters. So maybe I have to
Yeah.
approach it from that angle.
Yeah, and from what I know, 3 is the best one. Like from a story perspective, that's the one everybody always raves about.
Okay.
They are doing 1 and 2 in the same style as well for 2025 though, which is interesting.
Okay.
So which was a cool announcement. I think that's why it took so long for them to announce this. They wanted to wait to announce that with it, so you could play all 3 games, because this is a trilogy. They call it the Erdrick trilogy of games. And weirdly, 3 is a prequel to the other 2.
Oh, okay. So that's
So
what
it
that was
takes
coming out first. That makes
yeah, it takes
sense.
place first chronologically. The director of the game was like, yeah, we wanted to release this one first and have the other 2 games, coming afterwards, because this is the first one chronologically, and we think players can jump in here as their starting point. So yeah, that's cool. So the next group of games, just pick any of these out if you want to talk about them. Funko Fusion, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, the new Denpa Men, Metal Slug Attack Reloaded, Darkest Dungeon 2, more stuff for Nintendo Switch Online, Phantom Brave, The Lost Hero, and then Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics.
I will shout out Marvel's Capcom Fighting Collection.
Mhm.
Because
Those games
uh
look so good, dude.
yeah. Um we thought this was never coming out because Disney owned part of the rights to some of the characters, and they actually delisted Marvel vs. Capcom 2 off all platforms.
Hmm.
Um, so I will be buying this. If there's a physical version, I will be buying this in a heartbeat.
Yep.
Not only that, but the games are insanely good and fun. They're completely unbalanced, and I don't fucking care. The game's just really fucking fun to play,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And I feel like if you're a fan of Capcom and Marvel, this will be a game to just this collection is for you. Not to mention like the music and the soundtrack is just I wish you can experience it, man. It's just so it's probably not even gonna lie to you, Justin. Top 5 soundtracks of
Well,
video
dude,
game.
they played like the character select song, and it's fucking jamming, man. Like,
Exactly. And
I'm
the
like, what
characters,
the fuck?
the stages are the same way. Like, is probably one of the top 5 OSTs of games I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah.
Uh, I think like this was one of the first games I actually heard. Actually, no, it was Ridge Racer Revolution, where I was like, "Wow, gaming soundtracks have been elevated to a new standard."
Hmm.
And this is with another one of those games as well. So I will be buying this. I suggest everyone else, if they have a physical version of this game, buy it physical. Um,
Yep.
and hold on to it because I feel like Disney's gonna rip it off the markets sometime soon again.
Yep. The ones I wanted to shout out were Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. Looks pretty cool,
Yeah, I knew you
actually.
would like this. When I saw this game, like, oh yeah, Justin would like this
Yeah, oh
game.
yeah, you build your little squad, and you fight. It looks insane though. Like the latter part of the trailer just looked completely insane. Like I'm like, how do you even know what's going on screen with this much shit on there? So that looked interesting. Darkest Dungeon 2, I wanted to shout out to. I played Darkest Dungeon 1, didn't get very far with it before I dropped it, but I just conceptually like love the idea of like a super hardcore turn-based RPG, like a Dragon Quest style RPG. Like, it's
Mhm.
such a cool idea. And I've been curious about Darkest Dungeon too, but I don't want to play it. It's like a handheld game to me. I don't want to play it on PlayStation or something,
Yeah.
or PC. So yeah, that's coming. That's cool. And then for the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, so Turok's coming, and then Perfect Dark, if ever anybody wants to play the original
With
game.
online capabilities, by the way.
Yes. And then Metroid, what was it? Metroid Fusion, I believe, which is a
Yes.
remake of Metroid, the first Metroid game.
Well, it was Metroid Fusion, and then I think Metroid First Mission. So Metroid First Mission is or Zero Mission rather is a remake
Gotcha.
of the
Yeah,
first game. Yeah.
yes. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. After that was Super Mario Party Jamboree. So I know you're into these games that have been on Switch. What did you think of this one?
Hey man, you know I've been waiting for another Super Mario game, Super Mario Party game. So
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I am a fucking simp for Super Mario or for Mario Party games. I
I
love
am
Mario.
too. I just like I want to play with somebody though. Like, I don't want to play by myself,
You know what? I think one day I just gotta get you and DJ together because DJ loves Mario Party as
Bro,
well.
dude, oh my god, no. Like, we really have to do a LAN party, seriously, because there are so many games I would love to play couch co-op with you guys. Like, are you kidding me? Like Smash Bros, obviously, but like the old Mario Party games, this like Mario Tennis,
We went over his
fucking
house. Me and Deanna went over his house like a couple months ago, and we
yeah,
played. It was me, him, and his wife, and we played Mario Party, and that shit was so fucking fun. It was.
yeah. Oh my god, no, it's phenomenal, dude. I will wreck you guys, but it'll still be fun. So this looks cool. I think the problem I have is because they're adding two boards from Mario Party 1 and 2. I think they said,
Mhm.
um, dude, like, Nintendo, can you stop teasing us with these like little mini like remaking boards from old games? Like, just give me like Mario Party All Stars or something, where it's like all the boards from all the games with all the mini games. Just give me that, okay? I will be there, and I will buy the shit out of that and play the shit out of that. I know that's asking for a lot because I'm asking for like fucking 10 games worth
Yeah,
of shit.
you asked for a lot.
Okay, give me like 1 through 3 then, you know, like something like that, because it's like this little teasing of just 1 or 2 boards. Like, come on, man. There's so much good shit from the first few Mario Party games, man. Like, it's just frustrating because some of the newer mini games are like just so hit or miss with the like motion control stuff they do.
Yeah,
I'm not as into that shit as the older mini game designs, which is why I've like kind of fallen off this franchise to a degree. But dude, I love Mario Party. So I mean, if you get it and we want to play like
I'm
local,
definitely getting it.
I'm
I'm
fucking
getting
there,
it.
dude. I'm
Yeah,
fucking there.
this is a first day buy
You know?
for me. This is like
Absolutely.
legitimately a first day. People is I don't
That's
know. I was
hilarious.
so hyped when I saw. I was like, oh my god, it's a new Mario Party.
I love it. It's coming on October 17th, so it's soon as well. So that's cool. All right, next big game was a new Legend of Zelda game. This came out of nowhere, dude.
Yeah, this.
Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Um, it's in that. Oh, it's in the
The remake of
what the fuck is it called?
Link's Awakening
Link's
on
Awakening. Yeah,
the Game Boy. Yeah.
yeah. So I like that style. But this one's Zelda focused. This is actually Zelda's the main character in the
Yes, you're
game.
playing as Zelda, not Link.
Um, and I don't think I'm really too privy on the combat or not the combat, but the gameplay. I think it's really cool though. It's a really inventive way. It kind of reminds me of Breath of the Wild almost, the way you have
Yeah.
to use items and stuff like that. Um, and then you know what it reminds me of? Because Zelda never really fights herself in the game, and you have other
Yeah.
things that fight with you. It reminds me
Yeah.
of Zelda. Was it Phantom Hourglass?
Yeah.
Where you play as her and you play as her.
Uh
What, which one
I don't
was it?
remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh my god, you're about to make me look it up. I'm about to fucking
I
lose my
don't know,
mind.
man. Yeah, I don't remember.
I
I
don't think it
probably
was
didn't
Phantom
play it.
Hourglass. It was another one. It was called Phantom something.
Was it
Or not Phantom
Oracle
something.
Oracle Seasons, Oracle Ages,
No, no, no,
maybe?
no, no, no.
Or
You actually played as Zelda and you controlled.
Phantom Tracks.
Was it Phantom Tracks?
That was the one after Phantom Hourglass. I mean, I don't know. I didn't play those games deep enough. I've never
That
played a
was
Zelda
Spirit
game.
Tracks you're talking about. Spirit Tracks.
Spirit Tracks. I've
Yeah.
never played a Zelda game where you play Zelda.
Okay, because that's where you got her core move from, like in the fucking actual Zelda games. Like or not in the Zelda games, but when you play as Zelda
Smash
in
Bros.
Smash Bros. And she throws out like the one guy, like he comes from that part of the game, and maybe that was just part of the game you play as her, and she does
Gotcha.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a very fun game to play. I think it was Spirit Tracks actually. I think you play as part of her, like half the game you play as her. I gotta replay the game again. Half of her you play as her, and half of her you play half of you play as Link. So yeah, but it looks really cool. I wasn't too excited by it, but I know a lot of people were, and I'm happy for you guys.
Well, it's coming on September 26th, and yeah, this was probably the other game that I was like, this to me, I'm actually pretty excited about this. Like, this is what I want out of Zelda. Like, it's a puzzle game, dude. Like, it's not a combat game. You're not running around like murdering fucking everything. Like, it's gonna be a game about puzzles, and that's what I want. You know?
Okay.
So I don't know. Like, and I like the idea of playing as Zelda too. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like, I love that concept. So that's cool. And I mean, we'll see how good it is. But I just like that Nintendo's still trying different things with this franchise. Like, they're not just stuck in the open world land,
Yeah.
with every game they're gonna make going forward. So I don't know. I think it looks cool. All right. Next was Just Dance 2025. I don't understand how these games sell the way they do.
I said the same thing. I think I said it last weekend. I was like, there must be a lot of people buying Just
It
Dance.
is mind-boggling, dude. Like, they got Ariana Grande, boy. Like, man, she's a big Final Fantasy fan. They got to do a crossover with that at some point with her. But yeah, I don't know, dude. After that was Lego Horizon Adventures. They actually had a trailer for this game on the Nintendo Direct. I could not fucking believe this. Like, this was crazy to me, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. Xbox and PlayStation are doing some interesting things with their IPs, and I think they're trying to break the barriers of the whole console war thing. I think that's really been holding them back. And I'm actually excited to see other IPs on other consoles. It may be weird, but I think stuff like this fits Nintendo. Like I would love to see a Jack and Daxter game on the Switch. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like that would be really cool. You know, so
Well, dude, Sony's trying to make more money, dude. Like, too, at the same time, right? Like, this game, I think, actually has a real chance of being a very large seller.
yeah.
Like, I,
I said personally, I said it on the podcast last week, and I
yeah,
said it on my Twitter. I think this looks better. This looks more fun than like the original Horizon Horizon
actual
One.
Horizon.
I didn't play Forbidden
Oh,
West, so I can't comment on that. But I did play Horizon, the first Horizon, and I was not impressed with that game at
be
all.
careful, Montreal. Be careful.
And this looks way more fun than that game.
No, Horizon One's combat is rough, dude. Like, I don't think it plays very well. Like I think the game is really like it has some really imbalanced shit in it too. I think I've talked about this on
Yeah,
the
you
podcast
did.
where
Yeah,
like yeah, the fire arrow
the fire
shit that
arrow
you can do.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I agree. I actually kind of agree with you. But I don't know, it looks fun. I just think the idea that Nintendo is playing nice with Sony is so interesting though. To show
Yeah.
this game on a Nintendo Direct is very interesting. Like there's some interesting stuff happening here, and I think PlayStation is gonna. I think this game is gonna do very well on Switch. Like there could be, like Sony might be to the point that Sony might reconsider maybe putting some other games of theirs on
Yeah.
Switch. You know, dude. Like if Nintendo's willing, like why the fuck not? You know, it's
Yep.
not the same. It's not the same. I don't know. Like obviously you're not gonna put The Last of Us on
Yeah,
Switch,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, but like if it's the right game, you know,
That's what
probably
I'm
not
saying.
Astro.
That
Astro would tonally make sense, but there's just too much PlayStation iconography in it
yeah,
for that to work. But
like I said, some of the smaller stuff, like they've just forgotten to time, like
Ratchet and Clank
Ratchet and
could be
Clank,
cool. Yeah.
maybe Jack and Daxter. We haven't had a Jack and Daxter game for years, and I'm pretty sure Naughty Dog's never going back to Jack and Daxter. So
Hmm.
it's like,
Hmm.
um, yeah, like a lot of those little games, maybe Ape Escape, the Ape Escape games, those are stuck on PlayStation.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Okay. Stray was the next game they showed. I got nothing to say on that one. And then the next game after that, do you have anything to say about Stray?
Nah,
Okay. Next game they showed was Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings game. Montreal, can I just tell you when they showed this game, I was like, I want to play the fuck out of this. like I this is the kind of stuff that I want to see more licensed IPs do. Lord of the Rings games have been kind of bad the last few years, and this one doesn't necessarily look amazing or anything like that, but it's an interesting idea of like a cozy, one of those cozy like Stardew Valley games in the
yeah,
Shire is such a fucking smart idea, you know? Like it makes so much sense. It hurts my brain that nobody has done this before, you know?
yeah, I think it's really cool. I'm not like I said, I'm not the super big. I know my wife will love this game. She's a Lord of the Rings fan, so I'm probably going to buy this for her.
Yeah.
And she likes the cozy games stuff like that. So, um, this would definitely be a game I will buy for her when it comes out. It looks really cool though.
Dude, you can host like dinner parties and stuff and go fishing and cook and Gandalf might show up. I don't know. That's interesting. It's coming to holiday 2024 as well. All right, next game, Ace Attorney Investigations Collection. Anything on this one?
I am going to get this because I'm an Ace Attorney secret fan. So I'm,
Yeah.
I like these stupid games.
Objection.
Yeah, I like these stupid fucking games. They're so fucking
Yeah.
stupid, and I love them.
Yep.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
get it. Yeah.
We got 3 more to go here. I want to talk about this next one, the 100 Line Last Defense Academy. This is from the Danganronpa studio,
Mhm.
and bro, they're making a Tactics game. What the fuck? Like, I mean, I have to play this. Probably,
Yeah, I knew.
right?
I thought about you when I saw this game. Oh, he's gonna love this shit.
Dude, this looks awesome, dude. It looks so good. Like, I'm like, goddamn, like, what the fuck? This is out of fucking nowhere, dude. Like, so I don't know. This game looks really cool. I don't have a ton to say about it. It's coming early 2025. I mean, we didn't see a huge amount, but It's got that Danganronpa vibe to it, but it's a tactics game on
Yep.
top of that. So yeah. Next game was Romancing Saga 2: Revenge of the Seven. This is from Square as well,
I
and
personally am super excited about this game.
this looks really
It
cool.
looks really fucking cool.
Yeah, dude, this looks really cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so this is a game where you play as a character, but you will eventually like get married and have kids, and then you will play as the kids.
Yeah.
So you have like
You expand
different.
your empire and shit like that. It's
Yes,
crazy.
yes, and like the game takes place over, multiple generations of the family, which is a really interesting concept. So that's cool. So that is a very interesting game as well, coming October 24th this year. And then the last game, Montreal, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I gotta know how you feel about this. They
Um,
got me. I will say at the beginning, they got me for a second. I knew Nintendo would not end a Nintendo Direct with a Xenoblade Chronicles X remaster or port. I like,
I
but
thought it was too when the font came up. I was like,
it said, well, the font, and then it said 20x9, and I was like, no, no, and then I was like, fuck, Metroid, motherfucker,
yeah.
So
So it was bittersweet for me too. I was I thought it was a Metroid game. I mean, not a Metroid, a Xenoblade
yeah.
game. And then I saw it was Metroid, and I was just like, okay, I should be more happy that this game is actually coming out. Me personally,
Bro,
I just wasn't. I was impressed, but I wasn't impressed. I don't.
I was not impressed
I
at all. This looks like, dude, I'm sorry. I, I'm gonna be honest. The end of the trailer got me a little bit hyped when they did the landscape shot,
yeah,
and they showed 2025. I was like, okay, this environment looks really cool. The rest of the trailer did not look cool at all. The combat looks like just Metroid Prime. Like,
yeah.
what am I do? What are
What
we
did they
doing here?
change? Yeah, like
It looks exactly the same. Like
yeah,
maybe this is early game combat or something like that. But bro, it's like the fucking strafing lock on bullshit from like I'm like, dude, it's 2024. What are we doing here?
yeah.
Like,
So I felt the same exact way. A lot of people were hyped, and I was just like, I can't get hyped for it. Like, first of all, I didn't like the opening section they showed. It looked very
yeah.
Call of Duty ish. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not. I don't want to play Call of Duty. I want to play Metroid. And
Mm-hmm.
I the tone of the game gave me right, and I know they haven't done this since Metroid. I know Metroid 2 and 3. I didn't play 3, but 2. Uh, they kind of lean more into the pirates and stuff like that. And I think 3, you were fighting humanoid like characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, so I know 4 they're probably like leaning heavily into that. I still love the aspect of 1 though, where I was just
Yeah.
like on the desolate
100%.
planet and
You're alone.
yeah. Um
There
I,
are no humans. There's no humanoids. There's no one to talk to. You're
well,
just
you do
wandering
fight space
around.
pirates, right? You do fight
Yeah,
space
I
pirates in
know.
the game.
Eventually, but like early in the game, like you don't run into any of that shit for like
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah,
And when
exactly.
you do run into space pirates, dude, you start reading their like logs and stuff, and they're all panicking.
Yeah,
They're like the
exactly.
hunter is here, and they're like, oh fuck, it's like it's fucking badass, bro. Like it's so fucking cool. Like Samus is so cool. But yeah, it's like I don't want her in this, like you said, Call of Duty style. I don't know,
It,
battle sequences. Like I'm,
it just gave me really Call of Duty vibes. And
especially if the combat's not gonna be good. You
yeah,
know?
I don't want. It was good way back in 2000. What 4 that game came out in?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was good in 2004. Like that combat was like it was different because Samus was a different perspective and everything of that nature. Um, but yeah, like bro, first person shooters have evolved. You don't have to be Call of Duty, but you don't have to be Doom either. But it's like
bro. Just like they should have just emulated Apex. Like that would be fucking sick in Metroid. Like that style of like arcadey shooter combat.
yeah, like, and that's also where I'm upset too, right?
Yeah.
Where's the agileness of Samus? I don't get that from the Prime games. I
No.
understand Prime is more so like her exploration side of things and all that stuff like that, and I appreciate that. But like and this is a bad example, because people are gonna fucking flame me for this if we ever get big. I actually like other M's combat. I thought
Mhm.
it was like a very accurate portrayal of how Summons would fight and how you should feel playing as Summons. Um,
Well, she's like a superhuman fucking bounty hunter, dude.
yeah,
Like
and
every time they show her in a cutscene, she's jumping around like crazy, dude.
yeah,
You know, like
and I don't feel like Metro Other M, or I'm sorry, not Metro Other M, but Metroid Prime games really show that aspect of her.
yeah,
Um, I don't know. I need more. I feel like you can do that. Like Doom has showed us, you can show what a fucking superhuman person is in first person. You
oh,
know,
yeah, Doom. Yeah, that would have been a good thing to emulate too.
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Um, I don't know.
Yeah, this just looks archaic, dude.
Yeah, it looks very retro, and
They gotta show me more. I'm hoping there's more behind the scenes here that they just didn't show us. You know, like
unfortunately, I think this is one of those things where they just didn't learn from their mistakes because people are so. And I understand the Metroid fan base is just like, I need something, something,
yeah,
please.
but I mean, let the fucking evolve the franchise. Like Metroid Prime is an iconic game because it revolutionized Metroid. Like it brought a 2D platformer into 3D. You know,
Yeah, yep,
um, this is not. I mean, this isn't that at all. This is just doing the same thing you did back then. You know,
yeah.
again,
It's
20 years
literally
later,
running
it's
off
just
nostalgia fumes at this point.
yeah. I don't know, dude. I was really disappointed. Is what
Same. I
um
was just like, is it just me? And people flame me. I was like, I didn't like this Metroid reveal. This shit was ass. Like it was not
well,
good, man.
I think that's why I did want to give it some credit with the landscape pullout at the end of the trailer. Those environments like that looks really cool. This could be I'm hoping that the planet she's on is like a really fun environment to run through, and the combat unfortunately is just it's just going to be bad. But if the game is still largely a Metroid game with the puzzle solving and everything
Yeah,
and data collection, like it still could be a really good game, you
yeah.
know. But it's just missing an aspect that could make it more interesting, you know. Um, yeah, I don't really understand like the lock on, dude. When they show, dude, when she locked on to an enemy, I was like, no. I was like, no, dude, what the fuck are we doing,
Because we
man?
evolved from the fucking GameCube controller.
Like what is this like Zelda like come on like we're sticking with the Z targeting style shit in first person like come on man Nintendo like this is my problem with Zelda 2. It's the same issue I have with that game is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are not like they didn't evolve the combat either and like nobody cares like nobody criticizes the game for that but it's like a huge aspect of these games you know and it's like I don't know. It's like Nintendo can do no wrong, but sure, whatever, man. Like it's fine. I didn't like what I saw in terms of the combat, but
Yeah.
they need to show me some puzzles. I need to see what that looks
And,
like in
and
this
that's
game.
and that's why, despite I'm saying I don't like a lot of the games. That's why I said this was like one of the worst reveals because, or
Mhm.
one of the worst directs because their main, you can tell like this is supposed to be their big hitter, and it just didn't hit for me. I was just like, this
Yeah,
was really bad. Like,
it fell flat.
yeah, it felt flat. And on top of that, I am extremely salty that none of the rumors were true. I knew it weren't
Oh,
true.
Xenoblade. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I
I was
knew.
really pissed about that, dude.
Yeah. But I saw from so many sources, bro. Even like ones I trusted. I was just
Yeah.
like, okay, I think they're actually, this actually might be it. Like they actually might finish the entire thing.
Well, where is it, Nintendo? Can you just tell me, like, where is Xenoblade Chronicles X? What, like, come on, man. Give it to us. We want the whole series on Switch. Please. Like,
I think they're gonna skip it, Justin. I think we're just gonna
I need it. I need it, Montreal.
I think they're
I
gonna skip
need the
it, man.
game on Switch, okay? Like,
I think they're gonna,
ugh.
unless the Switch 2 has like a dual screen type situation going on. I think they're gonna skip it, bro.
Bro, it's so good.
And
It's so
I
good.
know
It's just
it
it's
needs
in
to be
prison.
updated. It needs
It's
to be
in it's in prison on the Wii U. Like release it from prison, Nintendo, please.
do you
Like
think it's just too much stuff to like change?
I mean, the 2-screen thing is a problem because the game really did actually use
Yes,
the pad screen.
yeah, it did.
And that is a big thing you have to get over. But these are smart game developers; they can figure it out. Montrell, I'm not like, like they can do it. I'm sure they can figure it out in a way that's fine, that's seamless. Like that's not going to be a huge problem. And I just that game is so fucking good. Like I know the story sucks in it, and the progression of the main narrative where you get like locked, level locked.
They can update all that. And that's why I'm looking
They
for
can.
a remake or a remaster
Yes.
because there's some stuff that needs to be updated.
Yeah,
but
modernized.
But when people play
the exploration,
like,
that game to me is still one of the best open world games I've ever played. Like in terms of exploration.
No, it's not. It's a really good exploration game, but it's not the best.
It ain't, what? Give me another game. Give me another game. Give me another game.
I can't say it's the best. I can't say it's the best. Me personally, I can't say it's the best.
I mean, I said okay.
You say you personally. You are right. You're right.
I mean, right. I'm trying to think of a game that like fulfilled my desire to explore space in the same way.
I was actually scared to explore because like some of the monsters are like really fucking.
That's big. What I mean. That's what I mean. It's such an immersive space. Like it is terrifying to walk through. Like there are like bases with enemies in them, like with the the aliens in them and shit, and then there's these giant monsters running around, and then the way once you get to the point where you get the mech, the way that just changes the way you explore the whole space is like it is one of the most brilliantly designed like open world spaces I've ever experienced. Like I'm not saying it's the best. I guess I'll pull that back a little bit. I'm just trying to think of what one is better though. I guess maybe Xenoblade Chronicles 1 or 3 or 2, like one of those. I mean, they just know how to make open worlds, Montreal. That's all I'm saying. Like Monolith Soft is like
they do. I think this game needs to be remade. The few people that do. First of all, there are people out there. I wish I could convert people that just hate Xenoblade Chronicles. I think Xenoblade Chronicles, like this is going to be a hot take. I think Xenoblade Chronicles is like up there or even better than Final Fantasy games to me personally.
Oh, definitely. I don't even think that's a question. I don't like dude, Final Fantasy has never been that good. Like let's just be like like I'm sorry. There's a lot of nostalgia wrapped up in Final Fantasy. Like I get it. I understand. All of you grew up with it. It's like, oh, Final Fantasy 7. Oh my god, like it was the best thing ever on the PlayStation 1. Oh, it blew my brain out. Yeah, great. It's not actually that like I just when you take it as a whole, like it's hard to compare these things, right? Like Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3 and X versus like Final Fantasy 7 in its original form. You can't really compare the two. Like it's different eras, different types of games. So it's hard to say that. But in terms of like my personal enjoyment level, no Final Fantasy game has approached definitely 1, definitely X. I'd say 3 and 2, maybe like 16 and like
it's bro. So like I think the problem people have with Xenoblade is 1. I don't think has this issue. You don't have the skills, right?
Yeah.
1 is fast out the gate though, in my opinion. If you know what you're doing, you can start doing some crazy shit already in like the first hour, the 2 or 3 hours of the game. In my opinion. So I think 1 structurally, narratively, and everything, actually 1 is the best. Okay, let's just get that out of the way.
I'm glad I converted you. I'm glad I got you. You're on the right side of history, Montreal.
1 is the best, y'all. It has the best MC, the best story. I mean,
even the party is super good.
Yeah,
like,
man,
I love all the characters in 1.
Like Dr. Umar said, whether you like them or don't like them, it can only be number 1. All right, and that's Shulk.
I mean, this is the thing though. Within the Xenoblade community, there's such a severe divide, bro.
Oh yeah, and that's where I'm going to get to. Right?
Yeah, 2, go ahead.
It's a good game. Let me get that out the way. It's a good game. If we're talking about Xenoblade, terrible fucking game.
It's the worst one.
Narratively, I didn't like it. I love the actual.
Characters,
I actually love the party. The party is really good. I love the party. MC wise,
except for Rex.
yeah, I'm gonna say MC wise, terrible
Yeah.
MC, bro. I'm sorry. Rex does it for me, y'all. He can be the Chad. He's Giga Chad Rex. I know he slept with like
It
three of
doesn't
the,
make any sense.
I know he slept with like three of the blades. You know, we know it. Okay, he slept with Rex. I mean, I'm sorry, Mithra, Pyra, and fucking Nia. Right? I
Yeah.
Giga Chat. Got it. Love it
Yeah.
for him. But he's still a terrible MC. Sorry, y'all. Now as far as combat wise, I know a lot of people experience Xenoblade 2 as their first Xenoblade game. It
Which is
is
why everyone loves it. It's so annoying.
Yeah, and and this is where the problem I have with Xenoblade and when the way people talk about Xenoblade. Xenoblade is a game that you have to grow with, and what I mean by
Yeah.
grow with, it does actually. You know what? I take what I said about Stellar Blade back. Uh, Stellar Blade has the same progression as Xenoblade, in my opinion, where your characters and the way you fight is completely different by end game because Xenoblade 2 is that game where the beginning of the game is a fucking slog, bro. It's literally, oh my god, it's fucking terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Then by the time you get to like mid game, you start unlocking the character canceling art thing, and you're like, oh my god, this combat's fucking amazing. Like and then you start to understand the party, the chain attacks. The party chain attacks are probably the best in Xenoblade 2, besides one. I think 2 has like actually I'm gonna be on the wrong side of history. I think Xenoblade 2 has the best chain attacks, in my opinion.
That's fine. The chain attacks in 1 are really simplistic.
Yeah. 3 has the worst chain attacks.
Oh my god. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
That's the worst.
No argument. I think I spent like 15% of my playthrough in chain attack animations. Like 20%. It's awful, dude. It's so bad. That music is burned into my brain, bro. The soundtrack for that fucking
I can still hear it too.
Exactly what I'm talking about. You're hearing it right now, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, so it has the worst chain attacks out of all the Xenoblade games.
Yeah.
I think the party is actually really strong. This is a strong
three has a great cast.
Yeah, I think the party in this game kind of almost rivals 1 for me. To be honest with you, if someone walked up to me and said I like 3's party more than 1, I would not argue with them because that's how strong that party is. That narrative is really good too. I think 3 is actually a really good game. It's a really phenomenal game. The problem with 3 is it takes the same place as 2, or not the same place. It does the same thing as 2, where it kind of hinders the combat for no fucking reason. Literally, I'm telling y'all, for no fucking reason. There's literally a point in the game it just unlocks for you. Oh, you can do blade cancel.
Oh, you can cancel. Yeah, you can cancel arts. I'm like, literally just pop the text box and it's like, hey guys, you can cancel arts now.
You didn't unlock it. It was literally there for no fucking reason. And
it's just like you fight a boss and it's like, you can cancel arts now, guys. Have fun. It's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, like, at least in Xenoblade 2, it was like locked behind a tree or something like that, right? Which I still think was a bad choice.
Could be worse though if you don't unlock it early in the game and like you don't really like. Cause dude, that was my biggest criticism with 2. I didn't know what that skill tree node did until I looked it up. And I was like halfway through the game probably, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" So that's part of the reason I hate 2 is that experience. But 3, to your point, 3, I honestly think 3's biggest problem is the chain attacks. It literally is the chain attack. The chain attacks ruin the combat to a degree. Like, dude, the game is just like. It's centered. Warped. It's warped around the chain attacks. Like, you have to use them. Yeah. You literally have to use them, and they take 15 minutes to fucking do. You know, and it destroys any sense of momentum with the combat. I just hate the fact that it's like so central to the game because with 1 and 2, you don't even need to use them. Like, you can play the game without using them and beat everything in the game, beat the bosses. You can't really do that in 3. The game is just not designed around the party having enough sustain on its own without using chain attacks, because chain attacks like heal you and fucking
Yeah.
reset things and shit. Like it's
It,
so important to use them in 3, and I
yeah.
just that's like its biggest weakness, and it fucking sucks because the rest of the game's fantastic. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, 3, that's the reason why 3 is not number 1 for me, is because the chain attacks. Like, also I really personally just did not like when I beat the boss and I got to a certain, it was like the ninja part of the game where you're in the forest or whatever,
Yep.
in the trees. It was just like, you can fucking cancel arts now. And I'm
Yeah, it
like,
was on the beach. It was on the beach, I think. After that, like it was like a big boss fight.
yeah, yeah. And it was like,
And
you can cancel arts now. And I'm like, why? Like that. Well, here you go. Like,
there's no
there's no
explanation as to
explanation behind it.
why they
So
didn't try to put a narrative reason into it or anything like that.
yeah, so this is why I have an issue with the way people talk about it. Because despite the game's problems, right, I feel like if people had got to that point where the games you can cancel the arts and you can experience different levels of the game and everything of that nature. If you don't like 1, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, you just don't like the game. Because 1, you don't, none of that shit is there. You can cancel your arts instantly in 1.
Yeah.
So,
well, your movement speed is high at all times.
exactly.
Like you're not restricted by the momentum system that 2 has, where you have to like use arts to gain movement speed and shit.
God,
like,
no.
yeah, no, I like, this is what I don't understand. People don't like talk about these things when they talk about the game's combat. Is like Andy's fucking like loves 2 for some reason. I'm like, dude, like none of these things are present in 1. They're just so annoying. Like, why is that even the thing?
I really think it's the blade.
Rex moves like he has fucking anvils tied to his feet.
Yeah, I really think it's the blades
like,
people like. I think people love the blades.
It is cool. It's a cool system. Don't get me wrong, but it's also completely unnecessary to interface with it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, you can play the whole game with Rex tied to Pyra, and that's it. You literally never have to change his blade. It's completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And which, like, frankly, to me, it validates the whole fucking system, you know? As cool as it is. It's like, I like my RPGs to force me to use their mechanics, you know? And yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 just doesn't.
I will say, if you didn't over level yourself, you will have to have creative ways to do stuff. Towards the end of the game.
Well, yeah, with the fucking skills or whatever, the field skills. Yeah.
You have to find creative ways to do stuff. If you didn't over level yourself and everything like that, I'd say towards the end of the game, it was really tough for me because he kept calling in reinforcements, and I had to use the party chain attack to seal reinforcements, and I had to time that shit correctly. So it was like,
I don't remember. I'm gonna be honest, dude. I don't remember having any of these problems with this game.
Really?
Like,
you said you were over levered though. I
used 2 blades the whole game, Rex. 2 blades the whole game, and I never had a problem. But I did. I guess I may have been over leveled. I did a lot of the side content, so I don't know.
Yeah,
it may have been.
I kind of go to Trode after a while. So but yeah, I don't know, man. That people hate these games. They think the games suck.
I don't understand that at all.
And like I said, I understand too. I can understand if you're playing 2, you're like, this game is just, what the fuck is this shit? You know,
there's some weird anime shit in 2. Also,
yeah, there's a lot of weird anime shit in 2. But 1, I don't get it. I'm sorry, y'all. Call me a fanboy. I don't get it, y'all. Like,
people say the game starts slow, and I don't
literally
agree.
get stabbed in the shit. Like your partner, one of your partners gets stabbed.
Within 3 or 4 hours. Within 3 or 4 hours,
it turns into Attack on Titan. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, the story just takes off, bro. Like, it's like, I don't understand that like. I don't know.
It's literally Attack on Titan's robots. I don't understand what y'all don't like about this story. The story
before Attack on Titan ever even existed, by the way. So it's not like it was aping anything.
Exactly. You know? It's like when you go to the other Titan and you just I'm not even getting into that. But anyway,
don't spoil it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say. But anyway, like, I don't understand 1, but
it's 1, X, 3, and 2. That's my rankings. I'm gonna stick by it.
1, 3, X2. 1, 3, X2.
That's fine. That's fine. X and 3 are like really close.
I can respect that. I can respect you putting X before 3. I can respect.
Yeah, that. I think you've already realized. I kind of put X like. I have a really really soft spot for X, dude. Like, I remember playing that game, and I 100% of the game, Montrell. Like,
what?
Yeah, no, I did every single hexagon node in every map in
Oh
the
my
entire game,
god, you're a fucking
except
psycho.
for the one that required you to beat the final like side boss. I couldn't bring myself to do the grinding required to do that,
Mhm.
but I did every single other thing in the entirety of that game.
Yeah,
So
you're fucking bad, man.
I fucking
Yeah.
love Xenoblade Chronicles X. It's so good. It's so fucking good. Um all right. We got on a severe diatribe there. Anything else you want to say about the Nintendo Direct before
No,
we go?
that's it.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to our next story. Sea of Thieves was the top selling game on PlayStation in May. This is on the PlayStation blog, so this is fucking legit. This is not bullshit. This is not rumors. This is not hearsay. This is literally on PlayStation's own blog. Top downloaded games for May, meaning most purchased. Sea of Thieves #1 in the US and Canada over Madden 24, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Helldivers 2, Grand Theft Auto 5, NBA 2K24, MLB The Show 24, Stellar Blade, Fallout 4, Who's Your Daddy, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, Grounded, Another Crab's Treasure, Marvel Spider-Man 2, NHL 24, and various others going all the way down to 20. Elden Ring hitting, pulling up the rear there
I'm
at
pretty
number
sure
20.
that's like number one now. Elden Ring.
It probably will be this month. Yeah. But dude, Sea of fucking Thieves. This is an 8-year-old game that Microsoft has brought over to PlayStation, and this response is crazy to me, dude. There is no fucking shot that any of the games we just talked about on the Xbox showcase aren't coming to PlayStation at some point. Microsoft, there's no way Satya Nadella is going to see this shit and be like, yeah, we're going to keep all our shit exclusive. Yeah, fuck that, dude. They are raking it in. That is crazy. Sea of Thieves.
By the way, this game has a 9 out of 10 on Steam.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I knew this game had become very large. Like, it is a huge game nowadays.
yeah.
But to think this response would come from PlayStation fans.
I just remember when it first released, people hated this shit.
Yeah.
And to see
But they
them
built
like,
it, dude. They
yeah,
built it and built it and built it over time,
yeah.
And it's a very unique idea. Like, you are playing the game as a pirate, like
You
when
have a crew.
you have a crew, like you play with your friends and you are the crew. You have to like move adjust the mast and like do shit on the ship. It's like you actually have to sail the ship,
Yeah.
and stuff. And you can go attack other players and steal their treasure and stuff. Like, it's a really cool concept. I actually think our group might have a lot of fun with it, frankly.
You just gotta convince them to play it.
Yeah, no, really, like, because I think there can be 4 of us together or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think it could be a fucking blast, actually. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I mean, Montrell, what do you think? Am I overreacting to this on PlayStation? Like, I feel like this is huge news, personally.
I didn't know they had a Pirates of the Caribbean. I might play this game. They got Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, dude, they have I think they have a Monkey Island thing too,
Oh, man,
something like
yeah,
that.
I think I might have to play this
Like,
game, Justin.
yeah, man.
But I don't think you're overreacting. Well, maybe you are. I mean, maybe you're not. I think this. I wouldn't have expected it. I didn't even know PlayStation players were very like clamoring for this game. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, Montrell, this is Sea of Thieves. Imagine if this was Halo.
I personally think Halo's going to sell like hotcakes as it comes over to PlayStation.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
Imagine if this Halo.
There's this
Dude,
one game
Halo
called
Infinite.
Splitgate.
They should be working on the port right now for Halo Infinite.
Yeah,
Get it over here.
There's this game called Splitgate that's like bootleg Halo.
Wannabe Halo, yeah.
And it's like great value Halo. And I'm like, why don't y'all PlayStation players just admit y'all want to play fucking Halo? And I think if Halo came over, like it's gonna go crazy. Shouts out to Rare. We talk a lot of shit about them, but they obviously knew what they were doing with this game.
Yep. Everwild's never happening, but
yeah, exactly.
This is great.
And I don't know what the fuck Ubisoft was thinking with Skull and Bones. Like,
I don't know. More serious Sea of Thieves where you control the ship and not a pirate.
And you can't even see when you board the other pirate ship. It goes to like a little cutscene that turns black. It's so bad.
Yeah.
It's a quadruple A game. Remember they said that shit too, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's really cool. I might pick this game up myself just to play
Bro,
it by myself.
like Halo on PlayStation would blow the door. Like it would. I
Oh my
I
god, could you imagine if it's multi-plat? Is it cross-platform?
That's what I'm
It could be
saying,
Xbox versus Halo,
dude.
PlayStation people, and we
Bro,
just
Master Chief Collection. Like, dude, there's so much shit that you could do with it. And honestly, I just think I don't know. I don't want to over exaggerate, but like, I mean, definitely millions. How many of those millions? I mean, could we get to double digit millions? Possible. I feel
impossible.
like that's possible. Maybe not immediately, but over time, I could see that. Like, they're just leaving money on the table at this point. Like, just break the floodgates open, man. Like, just do it. You know. They got to be talking about this at this point. Like, what's the next game? I mean,
Yeah,
we got to do this now, right? Like, Sea of Thieves was a fucking hit because they said specifically that Sea of Thieves was the game they were watching. That was the one they were going to base future decisions on of bringing stuff over. And it's like, I mean, here you go, like here you go, dude. Like it worked. You are making money. You know, it's like it's crazy, man. So I don't know. I just thought this was very interesting, and it's on PlayStation's own blog. You know, so um, I'm sure they were fucking ecstatic to see that at the top of the list. You know, they're like this game is probably outselling the shit on your own platforms. You know, um, which is hilarious to think about. But
I'm actually loving that. The only people that aren't doing it because they don't have to is Nintendo. But I'm actually loving the fact that everybody's dipping into everybody's like
mhm,
marketplace. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. All right. Anything else on this one?
No, that's it for me.
All right. Our next story. Mark Cerny. So he has been what I would call, I guess, like the lead engineer on Sony's hardware for I think the last three generations, like PS3, PS4, and PS5. And he is continuing to do that now. Like he's worked with Sony for a long time. I don't think he's a Sony employee necessarily, but he's been working on their hardware for a very long time now. So this guy has been in gaming for 40 plus years. He made the game what the fuck was it called? It was Marble Madness back in the day. Um that was a very long time ago in the 1980s, and Major Havoc was the other one. So this guy's got serious gaming bona fides, but he was talking to GameIndustry.biz, and he had some comments that I thought were kind of interesting that I kind of wanted to pick through and talk about a little bit. So I'm just gonna read them here, and we'll go into it in a second. So quote. I've been very surprised by the degree to which developers are using ray tracing. Putting that in, that was a big decision and actually a rather late one. I thought that this is not going to get much use initially, but if we look at generations, and a generation is 7 years or so, software is created for 10 years. And so later in the life cycle, we will start seeing people using that technology. But instead, we had launch titles that were taking advantage of it. I guess having worked on games for consoles that were a bit difficult to get into, like the PlayStation 3, I can be a little skittish about very deep technology like that. But in this case, my guess as to how things would go was totally wrong. And I am so happy to have seen the early adoption of the technology. The other thing that has been surprising is the push to 60 frames per second. Based on previous console life cycles, I would have expected there to be a lot more games that are 30 frames per second only, just because the artwork can be so much more detailed if you have longer time to render it. Instead, the almost universal rule this time around has been the games run at 660. It's great from a play perspective. Gamers overwhelmingly prefer games that are higher frame rates. I just didn't expect such a departure from previous generations. So I'm gonna stop there. I thought this was like the first interesting comment of his, that ray tracing was like a kind of a last minute addition. It sounds like, to the PlayStation 5, which was really cool. And then his surprise with 60 frames, that people are into 60 frames, from his perspective, and that developers are kind of grabbing onto it as well, and putting their games in 60 frames as well. I just think, coming from the perspective of somebody who designed the hardware, like it's kind of cool to hear it. You know, it's like this is like kind of that behind the scenes, like inside baseball type stuff that we don't get a lot of in games, and specifically around Sony too. That they let him make these comments, I think is really cool and interesting. He seems to have a little bit more freedom in what he can say than some other folks.
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. It's interesting that developers say that people only play in 30 frames, but then he's saying people prefer to play in 60 frames.
I felt the same. I had the same thought when I was reading this. Yeah.
Um, so I'm wondering who's really telling the truth, because even my friend who developed games, he talks to the people that develop these games and stuff like that. They say the majority of people play in fidelity mode. Um, but then he's saying like most gamers prefer, um, which I am on his side because we are like that. But then I also have to realize that we are
Well,
of the hardcore echelon.
yeah, I think he's talking from the perspective of developers pushing for 60 frames per second. Like they're actually making their games able to run at 60 frames, like giving that option. I think that's what he's talking about. I don't think he's saying that more people play at 60 frames
Okay,
than
gotcha.
30. I think he's surprised though that developers have made that push, given those statistics. He doesn't mention that, but that may be implied here. But also the fidelity part that he was talking about, that games can be more beautiful at 30 frames.
Yeah, I think games can be a look depending on like the style that you're going for and everything. Games can definitely be more beautiful at 30 frames than they are at 60 frames.
Mhm.
Um, Interesting enough, I think Stellar Blade probably would have benefited more from just going 30 frames and keeping the
Mm,
input in check instead of doing 60 frames. And
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
um,
Mm, did they have a 30 frames mode?
I think they do actually.
Okay.
Um,
Be interested to see how the gameplay is like that, like in that.
but yeah, I think this is a really cool thing. Yeah, he seems like he has a lot of freedom. Like he's just like they're like, hey man, just let Mark talk.
Nah, dude, Mark Cerny's a really cool. He's a really cool dude. Like he's a fucking OG game developer, game player. Like he plays games hardcore. Like in this article, I didn't read any of it, but he's talking about some of the games he's been playing, like Animal Well and stuff. And he platinum Neon White, um which is like, so this dude's like a gamer, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's cool. It's cool to see. So continuing on, the next thing I wanted to talk about, so quote, with the consoles, one thing I've been trying to do is reduce the amount of time it takes developers to get going with their games. I call this time to triangle. All that means is that if I just want to get a triangle up on the screen, how long does it take to build the engine technology that will allow me to do that? That might not sound very difficult. The first PlayStation you could maybe do that in a month. But the consoles got so complex by PlayStation 3 that was taking probably 6 months to a year. So I've been working to bring that down. PlayStation 4 and 5 are much quicker. It takes a month or two before you have those fundamental graphic technologies up and running on those systems. I probably shouldn't, but I spend a lot of time on boards and I see people asking, if the time to triangle has been greatly reduced, why is it then taking so many years to create a game? And the answer is what the teams are choosing to do. They are going after these massive creations that really do need 4 to 6 years to put together. End quote. So this comment was very interesting to me because it just confirms everything I think we've talked about over the years with game bloat and everything
Hmm.
the last few years. Is that this is a choice that developers are making. This is not the requirement. You don't have to spend 6, 7 years making this massive open world game. You can choose to make to reduce your scope and make a shorter game that's tighter and get it out faster. And I just love to hear this because we don't really get a lot of that. Again, these are comments we don't really see too often. And we're getting it from the guy who designed the fucking console, So so yeah, I don't know. What did you think of this?
Yeah, like you said, I think it's just one of those things that confirm what we were saying about the game and everything, like or about the game industry. Um, I understand why they need all those need the time, but it's like I don't think players are asking for all that anymore. All the game bloat and the super fancy, realistic graphics and stuff like. It'll be cool to have that game every once in a while. The problem I think is every game's trying to do that, except for probably
Yeah,
Nintendo.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's just it's very interesting. I mean, I still contend like games don't need to be as big as they are. It's just cool to hear that, like, that's true. They don't need to take this long. Um so all right, next thing. I wanted to pick out here. So, quote, one of the exciting aspects of console hardware design is that we have freedom with regards to what we put in the console. Or to put that differently, we're not trying to build a low cost PC. We aren't bound by any particular standards. So, if we have a brainstorm that audio can become much more immersive and dimensional if there's a dedicated unit that's capable of complex math, then we can do that. Or if the future feels like high speed SSDs rather than HDDs, we can put an end to end system in the console. Everything from the flash dies to the software interfaces that the game creators use and get 100% adoption. I like to think that occasionally we're even showing the way for the larger industry and that our efforts end up benefiting those gaming on PC as well. It's a tech heavy example, but on PS4 we had very efficient GPU interfaces, and that may well have spurred DirectX to become more efficient in response. Or to look at something more consumer focused, I believe that releasing PS5 in 2020 with a very high performance integrated SSD put pressure on the PC world to get their corresponding direct storage API into the hands of their gamers. There's a recent development here, which is console exclusives that were created to run on bespoke PlayStation systems are now making their way to PC. That conversion has been simpler than many thought. The main consequence is that the minimum spec for the PC version of the game gets a bit higher, perhaps more CPUs or more RAM, in order to replace the missing systems. And then he was talking about a video by Linus Tech Tips where they tried to kill the PlayStation 5 by building a $500 gaming PC that outperformed the console. And quote, this is what he said: they had to get a used motherboard. That was the only way they could build a PlayStation 5 equivalent for a PlayStation 5 price. And if you're using used parts, well, you can just get a used PlayStation 5 on eBay for $300 something dollars. End quote.
Wow.
Yeah, these are interesting comments. I like his candidness here. The stuff about pushing the industry forward is very interesting too, and I think this is something that PC gamers are just completely ignorant about. Is the idea that consoles are actually pushing evolution in the PC space, because they always think that, oh, the power of their PC or the parts in their PC is higher than a PlayStation, and of course, brute force wise, that's true. But the thing with consoles, and this was most illustrated with the PS5, I feel like, to me, of any of the consoles we've seen, probably the most illustrated, like straight up, that a player could see with the SSD, is like he's saying, like you can build it and design it in such a way that everything is so tightly kind of designed and connected that it's a system that is more efficient than something that's more powerful, and you end up getting a better experience out of that. The SSD shit is crazy on PlayStation, dude. Like the loading in some of the PlayStation first party games is fucking nuts, dude. Like it's literally loading in a second. It's or less than a second. It's crazy, and PCs weren't doing that, even with SSDs, they're not that fast,
Yeah.
So any thoughts on this part?
I actually think he's kind of, man, I wish we could get him on the podcast. It sounds like he's almost in the same mindset as us when it comes to gaming in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I think him talking about the consoles and the reason why, I don't want to say PC would never catch on, but it won't ever catch on is because it's an elite space.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's decentralized, right? Like
yeah,
it's not specifically designed for any one thing,
yeah. And I just think it's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't get a PC to play video games when they get a PC to work on. And like, we work on PCs all day. We're in IT. And sometimes I don't even want to look at my computer when I get home. I want to look at my TV. I want to sit back, kick back, and get on my console. And I think that is I think that is the thing that's pushing. I mean, that gets ideas in front of people's faces when you can casualize something like that. If that was the case, then PC would have been blew up because, I mean,
mm-hmm.
you know, they were revolutionizing the way we play MMOs and all this other stuff like that, but it was such a small niche audience. PC gaming was, in my opinion. I mean, it's just a miracle that even World of Warcraft sold as many, it got as big as it did because it was a
Yeah,
PC game.
right.
Uh, but just imagine if the consoles were powerful enough to handle World of Warcraft, it would have been even bigger than what it is today. Um, and now we are getting games on console and stuff like that. I don't know. I wholeheartedly agree with him that like consoles are just pushing. It's pushing what gaming is. Because we wouldn't have got a Last of Us if it was on PC. I'm sorry, y'all. Like we wouldn't have got that.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have got
Yeah.
like a Spider-Man game the way the Spider-Man Marvel is, Avengers is and stuff like that. I feel like PC is a little bit too decentralized. It's not
Right.
focused.
Right.
Um,
Well, there's no one driving the platform,
yeah,
really. Like
exactly.
like Valve would be the closest thing, but I mean, they
The,
don't own PC.
they don't own
It's like
PC, and the only thing they have to really like push forward with it is maybe like Half-Life 2 and stuff like that, right?
well, I think, frankly, weirdly, I think Steam Deck has actually done a lot for them to get developers on the same page on PC.
Yeah,
Which is fine, but it's hardware driving that. It's
yeah.
again, it's an interesting thing. And the last quote here, and this is a short one, is quote, "I think as long as we continue to create that very nice package, the future of consoles is pretty bright." End quote. And this is kind of the last part I wanted to talk about here with this is we talked on the show before, you know, talking about Xbox and even PlayStation, like how many more console generations will there actually be? And I think I've said on the show that I wonder if PS6 might be the end or something like that, or PS7. But I like my mind is changing on this more recently, in the sense that I like I really agree with Cerny here that dude, as long as PlayStation and whoever else jumps into this pit, and like Nintendo and whatnot, and even Xbox, if they can do it, as long as they continue to make devices that are so specifically catered to this that like a PC can't replicate it without copying it in some way, um I think there'll be a place for consoles, and it's just that device specifically built for this purpose. I don't see that going away. Like the technology is just not there to decentralize game platforms.
Yeah,
Um, I don't see that. Like people have talked about streaming, and I just dude, streaming games is not realistic in the form in the way that, specifically I'm talking to the US experience, the way the US is operated from an ISP perspective. It's just not realistic in unless there's a breakthrough in technology there that doesn't exist today. um like I don't see that happening, and that would be the thing that would decentralize it. Otherwise, what else is it? You have to play the game on something, on some kind of device. And why would you we literally just talked, like you just said, PC's not going to be that, like for the reasons that Cerny's talking about here. And that makes total sense. So what is it then going to be? It's not going to be a TV, it's not going to be some generic box that somebody makes. Like Sony's just going to continue to make their own box. It makes perfect sense that they would continue to do so. So
mhm.
I don't know. Like I think we always try to look to the future, but for me right now, it's just I don't see a reason to believe that like there won't be a PS7, PS8, PS9. As long as Sony continues to you know make good games and make good devices, I totally see that in the future. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
No, I agree. I feel like both Sony and Nintendo, if they continue to make good devices, then um, they do have a future. Um, I also feel like I don't. Maybe I do. I know we were like kind of like negative on digital and physical. Um, I do like the concept of digital because, like, obviously, I like environmental stuff or whatever, right? And this kind of ties into the
Hmm.
consoles thing too. So just let
Hmm.
me get there. But like, obviously, environmental, we have to waste disk and space and everything like that. But then they just made, I don't know if it's true, but then they just came out with a new disc form that's bigger than Blu-ray, that can hold a lot more.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I gotta do some more research into it, but I believe that's true. Like, it holds way more stuff than Blu-ray. So I think younger kids as well are starting to, well, Gen Z are starting to do more physical stuff now. Because
Hmm.
like even like Netflix, right? They're starting to open up. an indoor Netflix what they call it, in-store experience or something like that's just fucking Blockbuster or movie theater, bro, whatever you're talking about.
Yeah.
So that being said, I think the trend is slowly starting to, the circle is starting to come back around. Um and I think there still may be a space for physical, uh even in like the PlayStation 7 and stuff like that. I feel like as long as companies like um Nintendo continue to do physical and stuff like that, then there's always going to be a space for it, you know. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and in that aspect, I don't see console dying anytime in the future. Um, I just think it's like it's a super simple thing to get into. It's like you said, a one package stop. I don't have to do research. I don't have to build it. I don't have to get OSs. I don't have to do none of that shit. Um, it's kind of the same reason people have Windows, right? Like if Linux was so simple, then a lot of people would have it. But Windows is that one stop shop for OS and even like Mac computers and stuff like that too, right? So it's like the more simple you make your product for people, but like with a little bit of openness, the more it will thrive. And I think PlayStation, Xbox, and um, fucking Nintendo offer that with a wide variety of games. So yeah, I don't know. I don't. It's been a while since PC has actually changed the landscape as far as gaming. In my opinion, I think like they changed the landscape as far as MOBAs, and even that was a niche audience. And
I'd say Steam was the biggest thing though.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
true,
revolutionized digital marketplaces.
yeah,
Like it made that a realistic thing, for the consoles, and the consoles followed that, um, that model because Steam came out before PS3 and Xbox 360. Um, so yeah, I don't like that. That's probably one of the biggest things that it's contributed to gaming, I'd say. But there's others
yeah,
as well. Types of games, like you said, like genres and stuff that are PC centric, like MMOs and MOBAs and RTSs and stuff like that. Even like the CRPG, right? Like that, Baldur's Gate 3 is a great example. Like that was a PC exclusive genre forever,
yeah,
until the last like decade or decade and a half or so. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I like the I kind of like the idea that back and forth though. They're driving each other, and I like the idea that Sony is the one who like got these PC companies like DirectX and shit to like get their asses in fucking gear and actually like innovate and like that's what competition does, dude. Like that's what it's supposed to do, right? Which is cool. So it ends up helping everybody, which is why the fanboy wars are so fucking stupid,
yeah,
because like PC gamers are so fucking ignorant with this shit, dude. They think so such a fucking reductive argument about it. It's like I don't think they understand how much of an impact that these boxes that are low powered have had on their gaming, you know, over time. So, but yeah, Mark Cerny, yeah, no, I'd love to talk to this dude someday. He's a fucking he's such a cool guy when you like look at his career. But super intelligent dude. They only roll him out when they have a new console to talk about, and usually those conferences are not the most exciting. But he loves this shit, and he's done a very good job with it, obviously, over time. So, anything else you want to say on this, Montrell?
yeah. Nope, that's it.
All right, let's move on to our final story. Arcane got a season 2 trailer. Did you watch it?
No, I'm not watching anything to the actual actual
Okay.
season goes out.
Well, that's fine. We don't need to discuss any specifics, which is fine.
Mm.
The thing I wanted to talk about really is that they announced that this is it, though. Season 2 is the end. There will not be another season after this for Arcane. Um, do you think they can satisfyingly wrap this show up with one season?
If they stick to the arc of Piltover, yes. It's gonna
Yeah.
suck because people wanted to see other lands.
Yeah.
Um, I think the reason why they're doing that is because of the whole push that Riot had. Um, they're kind of scaling back on a lot of stuff.
I mean, we
Yeah,
saw the layoffs and stuff like that, and even the way they're doing games and getting to other media and stuff like that. I think this season cost them a lot of money, and I personally think because why else would you want to end that? You know what I'm saying? Like they have to be personally funding this.
ever, dude.
Yeah,
Like season 1 came out how many years ago? 3,
3
4?
years at this point. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
they struggled to make this season.
yeah. So and then that same studio is also making their own series. That they
Gotcha.
dropped the trailer as well. For their own personal series or you know IP that they're making. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think Riot's ready to get out of it because they want to not centralize, but condense a lot of costs and everything like that. The company also wants to do its own IP. They got a lot of traction for Arcane, and now they have enough to do for their own IP. And I think they may explore other avenues of showing other parts of Runeterra. Um,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know it may be super cliche, but I think they're actually. My guess is this is just a guess. I'm not confirming or denying or whatever, but this is just a guess. I think people were asking for Ionia, and Ionia is like where Yasuo, Akali, Shin, Zed, uh, Kane is at, and those are like the Asian type characters, Eastern type characters. I
Yeah.
think they're going to be a stereotype, and they're probably just going to make it like some kind of anime, some cool anime or something like that for that land. They're probably going to outsource it to another studio and make it like an anime type deal or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that would be cool because I mean, and then I can also see them doing something for Demacia and Noxus, where it's like almost a realistic rendition of like Game of Thrones s type, you know, show or
Yeah.
whatever,
Mhm.
for whatever the case may be. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it sucks that this is the last season, but this season bet not be like 4 episodes, bro. Like it better not be Game of Thrones season 8. That was 6 episodes.
Yeah, what was season 1 was 8, right?
Yeah,
And that felt really good. Like
it was
I
hour long episodes though.
yeah, they were very long episodes.
Yeah,
So I think if they do that same number, similar timing,
yeah,
8 to 10 somewhere in there, that they should be good.
yeah.
Because yeah, Arcane season 1 was really good, man. I was I couldn't believe how good it was and that I hadn't watched it. Like because yeah, I didn't watch it till last year, I think. It was like late in the year last year. Something like that, and I was very impressed by it. So it sucks that it's ending, but I think it's probably for the best because I don't I don't like the idea of waiting 4 years for a television show season or 3 years.
And
Like
everybody's doing it, man. It's
I'm
kind of
so
wild.
tired of this shit. I'm so tired of this stuff, dude. It's just like there are probably reasons for it. There are probably good reasons for it in a lot of cases, but um television used to have a season a year was the cadence, you know, and I I I feel like the pandemic broke that, and then it became like an excuse now that like it's just the norm that it takes 2 or 3 years to make a show,
Yeah,
make a season of television, and it's like that shouldn't be the case. Now this is different. This is animated. This isn't the same as like a live action show in that regard. This show it has crazy animation, phenomenal animation, and it's a very unique style. So I'm not gonna downplay the work involved here for sure. But to that point, like I think that might be why they're ending it here because they don't want to like. Do you really want the next season to come out in 2028? Like, it's like that's fucking insane, dude.
you would have to outsource it and stuff like that so it can come out faster. So yeah,
Yeah. And is that worth it though? Like, is the money you would have to pump into that? Is like, are you even recouping that? You know,
yeah. It depends on the
necessarily.
deal they
So,
got with Netflix, and I don't think they are.
I mean, maybe it'll drive people to league the game, and that would make it worth it. But I don't know. So they did say that there is other shows though that they have plans to make, um, in the future. So we'll see what those are. I mean, this show has proven that they have the chops to make the league, the Runeterra world an interesting place with interesting stories. The lore is as I've learned more about the lore, there's definitely some interesting lore in League. It's just like they don't have a narrative built around it though, really. So that's what the show helped do somewhat. And I think they can do it with other shows in the future. So
All
cool.
right. Yep.
All right, Macho.
So long.
We've been
episode.
here for over 3 hours. I knew this was gonna happen, dude. Like it's just I haven't been on for 2 weeks, so I got a lot of shit to say. Anything else you want to talk about before we go, or should we get the fuck out of here?
Nope. That's it for me.
All right, everybody. If you like this episode, please like the show, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And please share it with your friends. If you would like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap4the Hokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at ThunderNut01, and the show is at the Player's Take. If you want to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to playerstake01@gmail.com. That'll be it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week.